All right, time again, Derby Live. I think we are. Hello and welcome back to the Women's Football Chat Live. We are back for the Women's International break and the first of England's two international friendlies. Tonight they take on Brazil. It should be a very interesting clash. European champions taking on the Copa Femenina winners. So obviously these two sides will meet again in April. This is not the Finalissima tonight. That will come in April. But this is a nice precursor for that. A nice way for England to start their international break. Harry, these two sides met last 2 years ago. It was a win on penalties for England on that day. Does that show just how close tonight's match will be?
Potentially so. As you say, it was a very close game. England did well to come out on top, but it really could have gone either way across that 90 minutes. Since that game, both of these sides have dominated their continent once again, and I think it's an exciting one for England fans, seeing the Lionesses back in action for the first time since retaining the Euros, and it's a great opportunity playing at the Etihad to once again just keep building. I liked what Sarina Wiegman said in her press conference, that although we enjoy our achievements and we celebrate the success, we've got to keep improving and got to keep building as a team and as a nation. So very positive words, and I like that, the fact that Wiegman and England will constantly want to get better and better. If you can get any better as winning the Euros back to back, but it should be a very, very good game. Brazil will not collapse. They'll make it very, very difficult. We know what they're like. They're going to be a physical side. They've got some dangerous players when they do come forward. So going to be hard to break down tonight, and England are going to have to play well. It's, again, two good starting 11s that have been selected by the managers this evening. So, yeah, I think although it's a friendly, we're in for a highly intense and competitive game.
Yeah, indeed. You mentioned their England sort of transition, and I think it's probably easier to get to the top than it is to stay at the top. Because now what we've seen is Wiegman's going into her fourth international tournament with England. And so she's already seen a period of transition from the side that came before her to the side that she has built now. How does Wiegman maintain that going forwards? Not many managers get to a fourth international tournament. Many either decide that either it's not really working anymore or they decide to call it quits. But Wiegman just seems to be committed for 2027 at the very least. How does she keep that standard? How does she bring in young players while keeping the old guard happy?
Well, that's the difficult thing, is that usually we see managers go and that will coincide with the squad shifting. But what we're seeing already going into this international break is that players that have come through and shone and have been at their peak for Wiegman are either out of this international break through injury, or we've got players retiring. Millie Bright, the most high profile. So it is very difficult for Wiegman. It's all about balance. It's all about sticking to what she knows. What you've got to do, and what England have done so well over the last few years and why they've been so successful, is cultivate that atmosphere. And it's got to be an environment that people walk into and instantly become a part of. You don't need to be bringing new players through and they're not integrating. I think that's what England have done very well, and I think this international break is another brilliant example of it. The amount of youth players, or the amount of debuts that we could see this evening for certain players, I think it's really well managed. With all, despite all the injuries. I mean, England are missing 7, I believe, of the squad that won the Euros in the summer. So quite a few big players missing. So it's important that the players that do get opportunities tonight do step up, because for some of the players that have been called up for this international break, this could be their one shot at impressing Wiegman for the World Cup in 2027, or for future England squads at the very least. So it's a big night, it's a big international break for certain players in this England squad, and it's going to be interesting to see what they can do, because that's the biggest test for Wiegman. If someone comes in and impresses tonight, how do you then deal with that? Who do they then replace? When the bigger players come back, it's really hard to balance international squads. Wiegman has done it very, very well over the last few years, but as we see more young players come through and shine, and we see the older guard retire, it's going to be interesting to see if England can keep up that high level of European champions.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's take a look then at the lineups for tonight. We'll start with the hosts, England, as well, as you say, at the Etihad Stadium. It's a 4-2-3-1 for the Lionesses this evening. In goal, Kiara Keating comes in to replace Hannah Hampton, who has a slight knock in training. In the back four, it's Letitia, Morgan, Carter and Greenwood. In the midfield pivot, it's Walsh alongside Stanway. No surprises there, the familiar pair. On one side, Kelly. On the other, Mead. In the 10, it's Ella Toon. And leading the line, Alessia Rousseau. Lots of familiar faces, Harry. Are you surprised to not see more changes, more experimentation, or do you think that was always going to be the case in a game like this?
I think Wiegman was always going to go for her strongest side and the players that she knows and trusts in an England shirt. I think that if England do get comfortable or do get into a very good position tonight, at the end of the day, it is a friendly. So I would expect to see some of the some debuts handed out, but it's what we expected. We knew England were going to go full strength in this first international break. It's the way that every international break has worked under Wiegman. Go full strength in the first game and potentially rotate a little bit in the second fixture, which is on Tuesday for this 2 weeks. But it's a good size, exactly what expected. I mentioned, talking about opportunities and shots to impress, and Kiara Keating tonight is exactly what I'm talking about in that situation. This could be her one shot that she gets to start over Hannah Hampton over the next couple of years before we get to the World Cup. So although she would probably most likely be on the plane, this is Wiegman's opportunity to show the quality that she does possess, but also not that, but show Jeglerts what she can do at a club level. This is a massive game for players like Keating who get an opportunity tonight, not really featured for England at all, not featured for Man City much this season either. It's a great opportunity for Keating to come in and show her quality and get an opportunity to start in such a big game. So that's what I'm talking about with these international friendlies. Although there's nothing on the line competitively in the game, it's for players like Keating tonight that have got a massive opportunity. Carter and Morgan starting as a back two. That's a back two that we never expect to see starting together. Just those two starting together. So a big opportunity for those two to show that they've got the quality. Because with Millie Bright retiring, you're looking at either Carter or Morgan to step up into that being England's second best centre half.
We shouldn't be.
And
that's the problem, because you've got the best defender in the WSL's playing right back, the best centre half in the WSL's playing right back. Obviously, no Williamson, and then one of the England's probably second best centre half is playing at left back. So it's just I get why, obviously, with the structure that England are going for, why you'd have maybe one defender at full back, but I don't understand why you'd have two. I don't think there's any justification for two. Because, what are England going to do tonight? Are both fullbacks going to sit deep? Is anyone going to push forward? Are we just going to wait until the end of the game? What? I don't understand the game plan there. So I think it'll be really interesting. I'm gutted to see Maya again at right back. I think that's such a waste of her talent. I know you say, it's a great chance for Carter and Morgan. If there's two players this England side that I don't need any more evidence that they aren't really right at the top level, it's Carter and Morgan. They're both players who can contribute in major tournaments, but this is a friendly. I'd rather just see a little bit more experimentation. In goal, as you say, I think it's a great chance for Keating. I think that's a very good framing of it. I'd argue it's probably a better chance for her, almost as a shop window moment, because I just don't see a way back for her of consistently starting for City. If she's happy to be back up, that's fine, but that will put her England place at risk. If Ellie Roebuck can get into starting contention, that would definitely put her England place at risk. But yeah, I think, as Phil says, Keating works big time, huge potential, but absolutely wild at times. Yeah, I think she's definitely got a mistake in her. And I think she needs consistent playing time to eradicate that. But you're never going to get that at City, because it's quite clear that City want a goalkeeper that will play out from the back. And Keating just isn't particularly good at that, as we saw in that Manchester United game last year. I think with the forward line, it is incredibly dull. I think it was always going to be dull once we saw the number of dropouts, because there's a lot of injuries in the attacking line. I've got no problems with Alessia Russo playing. I have no problems really with Ella Toone. Both have been in hot form. I don't have many problems with Mead, especially with the number of wingers out, and Kelly. Yeah, I think it's a symptom of the amount of players that are out injured. But I think the side looks a lot more exciting with Hemp on the left-hand side, and then one of James or Park on the right-hand side. Yeah,
it's one of those where I haven't got any problems with 11 tonight, because simply put, there's nothing else you can do. As you say, the
pivot could be more exciting. You could have a Kendall and Missy Kearns in there.
Yeah, you could, but maybe. But again, we know how Wiegman likes to operate. Right back, you haven't got any other options. And to be honest, I'm more glad to see Laetitia there than I would be if Bronze was there, to be completely honest, because it would be really, really silly to put Lucy Bronze there.
I think it's stupid that Bronze has come. Yeah. The amount of players that are pulling out when they're not injured, and Bronze has been injured and has decided to come on in England national duty anyway.
The problem is, at that point, then England have only got one. Well, haven't got any right backs.
That's not Bronze's fault.
Yeah, I know that isn't, but she is fit at the least. You're not going to put Morris there with her ACL, are you? So,
no, but it's an opportunity for someone. But I know I get what you're saying. But I'd rather have seen Asmita Rail given a chance, rather have seen Anouk Denton. I know West Ham haven't been good this season, but I don't think Denton's a bad player at all. I'd rather see someone give an opportunity, given it's just a friendly.
Yeah, it's a different
than
one.
risking. If Bronze gets even a minute in this game, I'll be disappointed.
I know. I think Denton is an interesting one because she was really poor for the 23s against Germany. They were absolutely torn apart, and part of that defence was a shambles. So I think it's also difficult because there's no point bringing them just to play 45 minutes when they could go to the 23s and get to full 90. So it's a difficult one to add up. And yeah, I think injuries have played this international break for England, but the squad is still very much strong enough to go out tonight and get a result.
Yeah, and injuries have sort of plagued every team though, and there are obviously some injuries, but I think a lot of it is that these are two friendlies that, while they will mean a lot to the fans and will be hopefully interesting games of football, ultimately to players who've got to play a lot of football already this season, these will feel like nothing more than an inconvenience. As much as it's an honour to put on the England shirt, of course, I reckon there will be players, as we've already seen with the dropouts, that feel that their time is better spent resting over this 2-week period.
Yeah, of course that is. But at the end of the day, they're footballers and they'll turn up and hopefully, play well, as you say. But yeah, it's a difficult one because, I mean, the only real reason we've got this is so that we can actually have the Nations League finals and qualification finals, which is a bit frustrating because you're putting an international break in that only matters to about 12 or 14 teams.
And we've also got the November international break, which is identical
in
its irrelevance. So, yeah, I do think it's a little bit frustrating in that regard. But it is nice, of course, to see England in action. The more important games will be coming up next year when we start qualification to the World Cup. You wonder if maybe they could throw another Nations League in there, just if that's slightly more interesting.
Yeah, again, though, I think it's really hard balance. I think it's a debate for another day because we're going to enjoy the games while we're here. Course. But it's the international breaks need a massive review because there should be no world where you have months with back-to-back months with international breaks in them. No world at all should that ever happen, especially when one of those international breaks is at the end of the month. We've got an international break at the end of October and then one mid-end November. So it's 3 weeks apart. You don't need that. That's completely pointless.
It's heightened by the WSL putting League Cup weekends before it.
Yeah.
Because yes, it's good for player welfare that some players will get that 2-week rest, but it's also 2 weeks where if you support a Champions League club, for example, they didn't play in that 2-week period, and so that is a little bit of a shame. But yeah, overall, don't mind it too much. Ryzen says Shadow Football's video on Letitia at right back was soothing. Well, she can definitely play that role, but she's not in this England side because it's a completely different function of that right back. If the function of the right back is to slot into a back three and play as a de facto right centre half in possession, then that's fine. But we're not going to do that because Greenwood's playing left back. So yeah, if we look at how England played the Euros, where the left back tucked in and the right back pushes on with Bronze, then it's not a great fit for Letitia. Eve, what Wiegman had done today was flip it, and the right back's going to tuck in, the left back would push on, and maybe she'd thrown someone like Niamh Charles in there, or even Taylor Hines, dare we say it, then I think that would make more sense for me, Letitia at right back. But I can't justify that when that right back should be pushing forwards, and that's not getting the most out of my Letitia. So I think it's fine to say Letitia can definitely play right back. I think it's bizarre to say it's her best position, and I think it's wrong to play her in that role if she is going to be attacking tonight.
Yeah, it's one of those. At the end of the day, that's Wiegman's decision. It's not what anyone wants really, but if that's how it is going to be until Wiegman leaves, and it's something we have to expect. I think tonight is a little different because there are no other options to play right back tonight. But yeah, it's one of those where at the end of the day, Wiegman's made her mind up now, and we're just going to have to get on with it, which is a bit of a shame. But at the end of the day, Wiegman's won back-to-back Euros, so it's how can you argue with that?
Yeah, fair enough. I definitely see that point, but I think other people can play right back.
Well, yeah, but they can. But what I'm saying is, Wiegman's made her mind up now. She said, "Letitia's the right back to me," and that's at the end of the day, that's what matters.
I think it's still an interesting point of discussion. I think it's fascinating that the England manager views one of the top centre backs in the WSL as a right back. I think that's a very interesting thing. For all her plaudits, that is a very bizarre assertion to make, I would say.
Yeah. Again, it's a difficult one because I'm surprised she sees it differently. But I think it's difficult to discuss it tonight because she was the only player that could play there this evening.
Grace Fisk.
But again, that's a centre half right back. That's what I mean.
No, but I get your point. But there's no the problem isn't. But again, you could say, oh, there's no one else at right back that's really good going forwards. But then again, she could have called someone up that could do that role.
Yeah, but again, you're not gonna.
I know there's not a huge depth of talent there, but then you find someone that can do that role better than a centre half. I don't know. I think it's fine if the right back's going to tuck in. I don't think the right back's going to tuck in.
Yeah, I think it's one of those where you'd rather a world class player doing a makeshift role than calling out a player that potentially isn't England quality that in their natural role.
Put Kelly there then. She's going to get forwards. Put Kelly there. Yeah. I don't know. I think it'll be interesting to see what happens. And we haven't touched on the Brazil side. Sorry, we've had so long to talk about the England. We haven't touched on Brazil. In goal tonight, it's Lorena, a back four of Tatiana, Marisa, Haas, and Yasmin. A pivot of Sampao and Angelina. Luani on one side, Dudina on the other, Ludmilla in attacking midfield, and Zanerato leading the line. So England to get us underway here at the Etihad. It's Toon from the middle, waiting for the referee's whistle. And now Noxabaco back underway in this international friendly, and immediately England pumping it long, and they'll let Brazil play out and put them under pressure. Not a fan of that, Harry?
No, it's really annoyed me that it's come into the women's game after developing the men's game. It's just play football, use the ball, you got the ball.
I don't have a problem with it. I think it's very old head. It's the classic thing of wanting football to stay the same. Here is Carter, wants to go down the line. It's poked out of play well by Dudinha. And now Letitia. Throws it forwards, looking for Rousseau. Trying to hold off Haas. Haas does well, though, and it's back now to her goalkeeper, who will just launch it into the middle of the park. Stanway heads it down. Tarciane steers it clear. And that a little bit messy there between Zanerato and Carter. That's given us a foul against Jess Carter. A little bit of a strange one, that.
Yeah, not really sure about that one. I think Jess Carter has stood still and ran into. And I mean, I'm not really sure how Jess Carter's fouled her there, but given basically it's what we expect to see in this game. England are going to try and get the ball down, play football. Brazil are going to be very, very direct, very, very aggressive, and a physical side. It's, we saw it at the Olympics. What they're really good at was just frustrating teams, and it was borderline. It did cross the borderline sometimes of just kicking people, but it got them the job done, and they were really hard to beat, and it's what got them a silver medal. So they're going to make it difficult for England tonight. They're going to try and frustrate the Lionesses, and it's whether England can find a way to play through that and try and draw some free kicks and hope that Brazil are on the wrong side of the line rather than the right side of it.
Yes, mainly that midfield too, isn't it? Sampao and Angelina are just incredibly physical players, but it gets results, so you can't really blame them for it. It definitely looks like a 3-back as well for Brazil this evening, which I'm not too surprised to see. With it would have been Tarciane at right back. Ball poked in behind, looking there for the run of Ludmilla, who gets between Esme Morgan, and that is a wide effort from the forward. It's a great burst there from Ludmilla, bursted between Greenwood and Morgan, and it was just too easy there for her to fashion a shot. Unfortunately, though, not a great effort from the Brazil striker. Yeah,
she'll be so frustrated herself. She's timed it perfectly. She's been played on side by Jess Carter. Ball gets poked through, and I tell you what, she's got to do better with this opportunity. Not under too much pressure, and just completely scuffs it nowhere near the goal. Even if you've got to put it on target there and try and test it.
I feel a front post shot isn't the worst thing there. Keating isn't the most secure goalkeeper even at a front post. I think if you fire it high there, there's a good chance that it goes in, or at least forces a very good save out of Keating.
100%.
So possession now with Brazil. Nice switch to play, looking at Luani, who pokes it down the line. Ludmilla holds it up well against Esme Morgan, who pokes it out of play, and that is a Brazil throw. But so far, Brazil enjoying a lot of the ball.
Yeah, they've had a really good, not only on the international stage, but Brazil players as well domestically have done very, very well. I think that obviously Luani has been an absolute standout for Atletico Madrid this season. Ludmilla at the Chicago Stars has started well. I think in forward areas they've got some players who are in good form and look dangerous. Defensively, we know how good the likes of Tarciane are and Yasmin. So it's a side that not only are gelling well and playing well on the international stage, individually as players, they're playing well for the domestic clubs, so they're going to be hard to beat tonight.
That's a great hold up from Russo. Tries to play in behind, too much on that though. And then it is knocked away by the goalkeeper. And now here come Brazil. Sampao. Luani. looking at us play into the box, but it's blocked by Greenwood. So we're really interested to see Russo today in a system that is a lot more transitional, because I think a lot of Arsenal's attack is incredibly static, and what we see here is that she's given license, and there's already a player making a run off of her shoulder. Yeah. She can then slip it in behind. She didn't quite get the pace and the weight of pass right on that occasion, but Toon making that run is why they're such a good combination. Russo can drop in, and Toon will make the run off the shoulder. No one at Arsenal does that. Yeah. Marnham isn't the fastest, but still doesn't really make that run. Occasionally he does, to be fair, but often doesn't make that run. Palova definitely doesn't make that run, and neither of the wide players ever want to get in behind. So I think this system is definitely more suited to what Russo's skill set. Here is Stanway into Letitia, looking for Walsh inside. It's misplaced though by Kira Walsh. Now look to break now, but Dudina can't quite keep that in play.
Yeah, the foot races are going to be very, very interesting tonight. I think that what we saw at the Euros and what did quite well once Wiegman shifted it was when the fullback became the situational three, and it was Jess Carter as the middle centre half. But again tonight, she's out as that wide right centre half, and we saw it at the Euros how when Carter is that wide centre half, she gets absolutely torn apart in the foot race and just cannot handle defending those wide areas. She looked much better defending as that centre half. So I'm surprised that, again, we've gone back to putting Jess Carter as the wide centre-back tonight.
But yeah, I guess, again, it comes down to the choice of Esme Morgan, though. Because as soon as you go for Morgan, Carter's only option is that right centre-half. And who do you pair with in the side? I mean, there's a great option at right-back. But, if you look at the bench tonight, is Grace Fisk coming in to play that right centre-half, wide centre-half role any better? Probably not. Katie Reid would have been perfect, but obviously she picked up an injury before the camp. It would have been interesting to see Grace Pryor. I don't think she'd have done a bad job tonight. Ball in behind, looking for Luani up against Greenwood. Can Luani beat her? It's a good ball into the penalty area. Keating, though, out to claim that well. I think as well, potentially, it's a decision to go with a more defensive back line with a goalkeeper they perhaps don't trust as much.
Yeah.
It's potentially a way of looking at it, but yeah, I do think it is a bit too defensive. I wouldn't even mind Charles at right back. She is right-footed.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the worst idea to suggest, is as a fullback who's right-footed playing on the right-hand side. If they want an attacking fullback, I don't see why that isn't something that's been looked at. A little over-aggressive there from Mead. Or Sampao, I'm not sure who, has conceded a free kick there. There will be a conversation here with Sampao and Mead.
Yeah, it's a definite foul. I mean, that was handball immediately, but Sampao just... I mean, I don't really know what either of them are doing. There's been a couple of those.
Even look at the ball.
Yeah, there's a couple of those where both players are kind of just taking each other out and the ball just ran off somewhere else. But that's what Brazil want, because that there is England dropping their level to what Brazil want to make this game, which is a scrappy, feisty, aggressive game. England just need to get on with it and either get taken out or take the ball away.
Greenwood floating the ball into the box, headed away by Brazil, and now they can look to break away. And it is Bia Zanarotto who shoved down Morgan there, but play continues. Ludmilla onto Luani. Great defending there from Esme Morgan, who stood her ground well. And that was really important because a lot of her backline had been taken out there by the pace of Brazil's attack. Anyway, Brazil back in possession, and Mead and Sampao continue to fight, or Yasmin is on this occasion.
Yeah, see the arm from that from Beth Mead. And again, we saw it a couple of times in the Lyon game, and a couple of times for Arsenal. That's so unnecessary. Yasmin was just taking a touch, and Mead hasn't gone for the ball. Let's be completely honest. She's just gone and barged into her.
Yeah. Well, in possession again, it's played in behind. Looking for Dudinha, cleared away well by Morgan.
I don't know if momentarily, but maybe Morgan and Carter have swapped over.
Does look like that. That does look like what's happened, to be fair, yeah. Ball into the box. Can anyone make contact with it? It bounces around. Lunmia tries to flick it on. That's into the gloves of Kiara Keating. Yeah, they're not swapping round when possession's in their hands. So it looks like Viken has perhaps realised exactly what you pointed out, that having Carter defending on the right centre-half position probably isn't the best idea.
Yeah.
Ball played forward, headed away well in there by Angelina. It's going to drop now for Zanarotto. It's passed on well. Here come Brazil. Shot on goal. And it's in the back of the net. It's a great start for Brazil. Bia Zanarotto with the Ronaldo Sue celebration as he slashes home to make it a very unhappy return home for the Lionesses. And that is a great start for Brazil. England failed to deal with the physicality of Zanarotto, and she just lashes it past a hapless Chiara Keating.
Really good from Brazil. That's exactly what we expected. It was direct and it was physical. They've launched the ball long and Morgan has followed the runner inside and lost that physical battle. If you're going to push up, you've got to win the ball. But she goes with that and loses it. Gets flicked round the corner over her head, and Carter up in the one-on-one.
Carter can't catch up to her.
No.
And she just slots it past Keating, who was never going to get near that one. Struck with venom into the bottom right corner, and Brazil lead here at the Etihad.
Really good finish. England with work to do. But again, it's just organisation from England, and it's too easy. And it is Brazil 101. We're going to be direct, we're going to be strong, and then when we get an opportunity, we're just going to smash it into the back of the net.
Absolutely. It's a brilliant move from Brazil. It's exactly what they had to do. And I think England punished there for a centre-half partnership that doesn't work. Both players with mistakes in that one. Again, though, trying to play out, and Brazil turn it over. Dudinha could take this alone. Slots it into Ludmilla. Turns really well. Stanway was caught out, but she's bailed out by Alex Greenwood. And now England trying to get on the ball. Kelly, almost dispossessed, gets it back to Morgan, who's going to send the ball forward. Morgan and Carter have swapped again, by the way. Now Russo. Trying to turn, trying to find a teammate. Still under pressure there, and she's dispossessed. And here come Brazil. Luani. Passes it across. Zanarotto. Dudinha. And what can Brazil make happen here? Marisa. Angelina puts it in the box. Headed down by Morgan. Will drop for Luani, who will take aim. That, I hope, was a cross-field pass, because it does find its way to Yasmin. Ball into the penalty area. Chance now for Luani at the back post. A mix of England bodies. And that should be out for a corner. But I don't think it will be.
I think Luani's actually had her effort there, blocked by her own teammate. We'll have to watch it back here. It's a great ball in from Yasmin, right into the dangerous area. Keating comes and gets nowhere near it, and got in each other's way.
I think it came off Greenwood at the end, though. Oh, no, it didn't.
Yeah.
To be fair, just the two Brazilian players coming together.
But again, Brazil are smelling blood at the moment because England in their own penalty area are all over the place.
BMD says it's a little wobbly. What, at the back? Yeah.
But even that moment there, Ludmilla wasn't being marked. Keating came for it, got to the edge of the 6-yard box and backed out of it. And you know what they're missing? And it's exactly what one of Arsenal's problems has been this season, is a bit of leadership in that back line. Someone to organise it.
Well, I'll be honest, at the moment, there are definitely tactical issues. But it screams one team has come to win and the other have come to not get injured. And, Brazil are out here. They're putting their bodies in the way. They want to attack with, fast, with pace. England just don't look on the same level. Here comes Dudinha. Cuts inside. Lovely footwork. Plays it inside. It's cleared away by Greenwood. Struck from range, but that is wide from Angelina.
What a start.
It just looks like one team that wants it and one team that doesn't care.
Yeah, Brazil are absolutely up for it. They're playing at 110%. I mean, here, Dudinha has got Carter all over the place, and she's unlucky that her cutback doesn't find a yellow shirt. But what a fast start by the away side. They've been absolutely brilliant. They're all over England. It's England are half a yard off it, and there's no organisation at the back line. Because, again, we spoke about this. Williamson out injured, Millie Bright retired, and Greenwood at left back. You've got no real leader in the middle of that back line who's organising, and because Carter's got experience, yes, but she can't organise if she's 5 yards off the play, and she's the one getting beaten. Someone's got to step up for England and just take a bit of control in their own penalty area.
Ball in behind now, and Carter under pressure from Dudinha, but does get the pass back to Keating. Now Carter, just so slow. The touch was so heavy. She's managed to get out of her feet, and England can play now. Rousseau plays it in behind. That's overhit for Letitia. But yeah, England don't look on it at all so far.
And the only out ball that England are picking out at the moment is Leslie Russo. But in order to get that out ball, she's having to drop so deep, which means that, yes, she's holding it up, but she's only holding it up 10, 15 yards away from the centre-halves. It's not like England are launching it long and she's holding it up in the Brazil third. She's having to drop so deep to get the ball. She's only 15 yards away from Morgan, who's launched it long to her. So yes, it's an out ball, but it's not even getting England out of their own half at the moment.
Yeah, Lorette, by the way, making the same comment as you regarding the backlines. Both teams missing Leah Williamson. Here is Mead. Pass inside to Stanway. She could take aim here. Shifts it wide to Letitia. Flashed across the box, and that's cleared away well. Good defending from Haas, but that was England's best move so far.
Exactly what England need to do. Get the ball down and play their own football. 1-2 touch stuff. And it's really well defended. Good recovery defending. Stanway picks it up and had options. Yasmin not tight enough to Letitia. But a really good clearance. And away. Very far away. And Brazil deal with it. And that's what they've got to, again, box defending. That's what it needs. You've got to get out there first. So as soon as that ball comes in the penalty area, make sure it's you getting that first contact.
So it is Alex Greenwood over this then. And who can she pick out in the box? It's a good delivery. Headed away. Me chests it down. Well, she can't get there. And now Brazil will look to break. Flicked forwards by Kelly. Stanway down to Kelly again. Greenwood all the way back now to Morgan. And now it's into Walsh. Walsh out wide. Into Kelly. Cuts inside. Shifts it forward. It's back now to Stanway. Here's Greenwood. Could look to deliver it in. On top of the goalkeeper, though. Too close to Brazil's goalkeeper. And it's again Brazil possession.
Yeah, again, really well worked from Brazil. They're doing really well to be aggressive and go at England when they got the ball. But as soon as England turn it over, they're getting deep. They're deeper. They're getting, they're becoming more narrow and making it really difficult for England. They're happy for England to have the ball in wide areas. But as soon as they try and get that ball into the box, it's being dealt with by the Copa Femenina champions.
Yeah. Indeed. Olo Wato Biloba, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correct there, says England knows how to come back, so I won't be surprised if they win. True, England in performances have always had character to them. I think tonight is different because it's not a major tournament and it is just a friendly. But we have seen England fight back in friendlies before. I remember going to the Germany game in... was it November last year? And England were down in that game and they fought back. I think they still lost the match in the end, but there were moments where they showed character. 2-0. Poor strike, though, and that is too easy for Lorena in the Brazil goal. But yeah, it's a nice throw from Letitia. Flicked on tidily by Russo and Toon. She has to do better there.
Yeah, running onto it. It's set up nicely for her. Just didn't really catch it. Yeah, side foots it. Got to get more behind that.
But even if you are going to side foot it, you want to open up your body and aim for the far corner. She just didn't really hit it with any conviction. Stanway, Toon caught in possession. Here come Brazil. Paul from Ella. Toon options left and right. Zanarotto flicks it to Dudinha, who finishes it off, and it's England 0, Brazil 2. Another incisive counter-attack. England lazily moving it around the back. Toon caught in possession, and Brazil execute it fantastically. Driven forwards by Bia, and then played across to Dudinha, who, while didn't have the most convincing shot, she pokes it past Keating. And England here with a lot of work to do.
Again, too slow from the Lionesses in the middle of midfield. Ella Toon caught on it. And again, brilliant pressure from Brazil. They've got 2 or 3 England yellow shirts surrounding Toon there. Great play. I mean, I don't really understand how Dudinha is so much space there.
Great shot. She takes it on there. She wants to go across goal. Can't make it difficult for her. So she just hits it with the outside of her boot and just flicks it in towards the near post. I mean, I feel Kiara Keating could arguably do better there.
Yeah.
With how Carter blocks off the angle, she's got to get across better.
It's always the pace of the how quickly she takes the shot after the first touch that I think catches Keating out there. Because, as you say, she takes the touch, looks to set it, and then just quickly just pokes it towards the near post and off the post and in, and it's again really well worked by Brazil. Really good football, high press, and then they break away, outnumber England in their own third, and again, you look at that England backline, and it's at disarray whenever Brazil come at them.
Yeah, absolutely. The back four it's just not functional at all. Here come England. Again, Toon giving away the ball. And now here come Brazil on the counter charge. Yasmin will try and get there. Leticia will stand her up. The physical battle here as Yasmin wants to take her on. Has the support now. Ball played into the area. Looking for Ludmilla, who heads it down. Leticia will get there. Hooks it out of play.
Every time the ball enters that England penalty area, it is a yellow Brazil shirt who is getting first contact. Again, that is just a floated smash ball into the box, and somehow Ludmilla has won that header.
Yeah.
England have got to do better at defending in their own penalty area, because every time the ball gets in there, it's all Brazil.
Indeed. Brazil now being forced backwards. Nice pass inside. What can they make happen here? Sampao. Tarciane. Now Angelina. And it's back now to Marisa. Flicked on in there. It's just all Brazil at the moment. Yasmin. On to Angelina. Ball into the box. Looking for Luani, who heads on target. But this time Keating is there. Well, that too easily could have been Brazil 3.
Again, exactly what I'm speaking about. The first ball in is lobbed in there, and Ludmilla gets the flick on. Brazil recycle it really well, and Luani is not the tallest player on the pitch by any means, and somehow is getting there first. That is much better, though.
Now in behind, can Toon get there, dragged down, and that will likely be a red card. And that is a dismissal there for Brazil. And I can't say I'm surprised. That was poor for Angelina, dragged down Toon in behind, and it's a straight red card and an England free kick. And that changes the game.
Yeah, that will be really frustrating for Brazil. England just break away really nicely. Brazil get caught. The ball gets slotted through to Toon. Again, Russo holds it up superbly, and was it Walsh with the pass through? Absolutely brilliant. Toon gets the wrong side of Angelina, who drags her down.
It's dogs though. It's very smart from Toon because, I mean, it's silly for Angelina to never put your hands on a player there. But as soon as she does it, Toon's going to go down and it has to be a red card. It's such a soft foul. Anywhere else on the pitch, it's not even a card. But because Ella Toon's clean through on goal, it's a red card.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not really sure why Angelina hasn't left the pitch yet.
No, the captain with some complaints. Bia Zanarotto also not happy with the decision. I'm not sure what complaint they can have, really. It was clumsy. It was silly from Angelina. It was unnecessary from Angelina.
Yeah, I've never seen so many players complain about something so clear and obvious.
Yeah.
You cannot put a player down there. That is always going to be a red card. And she will hand the armband over, and that will be her done 21 minutes into this game. And although Brazil have a 2-goal lead, they are going to have to defend it with a player less.
Indeed.
That's clumsy, because even if Toon scores there, you're still ahead 2-1. And Toon still had some work to do, because Angelina could have got back in there and won the ball back. Toon, the shot could have been saved. So many different things could have happened. Yes, if that is a European, if that is a World Cup final with 5 minutes to go, absolutely pull her down there. But 20 odd minutes into a friendly, you're already 2-0 up. That's a really silly red card to pick up.
And the problem is now you make the friendly even more pointless for both managers.
Yeah.
Because both managers now will learn less about their sides. You can experiment less with what they're going to do. Brazil will probably now go deeper and become a bit of a low block. And so, yeah, you don't really gain anything from doing that.
No.
For either side. England free kick now. On the edge of the box. There's a chance now for England to find a goal back in this game.
Toon still has so much work to do. Just noticing where this free kick is, it's really far out. It's obviously, of course, it's a red card because there were no other defenders anywhere near her, but Toon still had a long way to carry that football.
So Greenwood, it looks like, will take this then. The England left back. Toon isn't happy about something here. Seems to be the England wall. So, England now, England now with the free kick. Mead and Greenwood over it. Greenwood takes aim off the bar. Carter can't direct it goalwards. And a great strike from Greenwood denied superbly. But Carter couldn't quite meet it on the rebound.
Brilliant from Greenwood. Catches it so nicely onto the crossbar, and Carter, she almost gets onto the scene too quickly. she's there before and just can't react to the football. It bounces into her and she just runs into it at too much speed and heads it over. But what a free kick that is from Greenwood's. Very unlucky.
Yeah, keeper did well, to be fair, got up there. And if that was on target, may well have met it. But, yeah, came off the crossbar. Carter just couldn't quite react in time.
Oh, well, that would have definitely been game on. And would have been an even bigger blow to Brazil if England had scored anyway.
Yeah. Here come England. Letitia to the right-hand side. Mead into the box. Chance now for Toon, who pokes it wide of the far post. Lovely move. And Toon now has decided to engage in an argument with Yasmin.
Yeah, I mean, again, brilliant from Toon. Really good move from England. And she does the right thing. Tries to go across goal and narrowly puts it past the post. But England doing better to win that first header. Stanway gets it up there and puts Brazil under pressure. And they just do not deal with it.
There's a great pass from Letitia to knock it wide into Mead, who put it into that's a fantastic ball. And then
I think Yasmin just came and knocked into Toon after the shot had gone. They cut away from it.
They both ran into each other.
Yeah.
Toon ran off, covering her face, as players do when they miss. And Lorena kicked it and then claimed she was injured. And now she is down with a knock.
Well, I
think that was a second kick, sorry.
After what was a phenomenal 19 minutes from Brazil, everything has just completely fallen apart in the next 6. They've lost a player, and now they may need to replace their goalkeeper.
Romain says Chelsea's goalkeeper's better. Can't trust the City keeper. I don't think there's any debate as to which one's better. You've got to. I mean, we needed to give, even if Hampton wasn't injured, Keating had to play this game, or Morehouse. We can't just play Hampton every game. It's a waste of a friendly if we played Hannah Hampton. Still a waste of a friendly if we play Hannah Hampton on Tuesday. Because we already know Hannah Hampton's going to be England's starting goalkeeper for the next tournament. She's going to be the England's starting goalkeeper for the next 3 tournaments, I would say, at a minimum. So, yeah, there's no one else coming through right now that would rival that. So, but you have to test those backup goalkeepers in case there are injuries. Yeah. Especially now Mary Earp's out of the squad. So you've got to give players like Keating games like these.
Yeah, the concern will be is that I know it happens to be that everyone's been taken out of this one, but as soon as you take out your nailed on world class goalkeeper and Leah Williamson your captain misses out through injury, the defence just falls apart, and that's got to be a big and that's why Keating and Morehouse have got to play these kind of games, so that if they are called upon, they've got a few appearances under belt, and the defence doesn't just crumble like it has tonight.
Yeah, I think there are. That is definitely playing into it, but there are other problems with this defence.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying that. I'm not blaming the fact we can see 2 goals on Keating. It's that confidence element. It's like, they need to get used to playing with each other and working things out, because it's just, the box defending from everyone involved tonight for England has just been an absolute mess.
Yeah.
But since that red card, it is the momentum, of course, has swung in England's favour, and it could be a bit of a lifeline.
Greenwood. Ball in. It's cleared away well. Morgan. That isn't able to be kept in. And Jesnaz there. Time wasting. I think it was Jesnaz. I couldn't quite see.
I mean, the corner wasn't great from Greenwood, and the pass from Morgan trying to recycle it was even worse.
Yeah. It's fascinating, isn't it? England's backline is incredibly slow tonight, with a 23-year-old, a 25-year-old, a 27-year-old, and then a 32-year-old. Somehow the 32-year-old looks the quickest player.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's just such a slow back, especially the centre halves. I think Letitia is fairly quick for a centre back, but not particularly quick for a right back. And I think both the centre halves are slow for centre half.
Yeah, and again, everything for England has had to go through the centre, and it has gone through the centre because, I mean, me and Kelly haven't touched the ball, and you've got two centre halves at your for fullbacks.
Yeah, Alex says Morehouse is better than Keating. I would have liked to see her given an opportunity. I hope she plays the Australia game. If Hampton comes back and plays the Australia game, what's the point? Because again, as I say, we already know Hannah Hampton's going to be England's starting goalkeeper. Great pressure from Russo on Haas. Haas trying to knock it out of play, ends up kicking it into her teammate. England still fighting away for it. Ooh. Russo deemed committed a foul there as she tried to win back possession and did catch Haas. Alex says, Jack, I don't trust the Morgan Carter pairing. I don't either. I don't think anyone does. It's a fascinating pairing, but there you go.
Is this the game now? I think I'll be intrigued to see what everyone else thinks in the chat as well, because I think this will divide opinion. But at 2-0 down, I think the red card maybe changes things, but with this game already going to be very hard to turn around, is this now where you bring on the youngsters and give debuts to players? You go. That's not the first 30 minutes of the first half hasn't been good enough from the favourite strongest 11 players. So let's go put a few debuts on there and see what they can do.
It depends how much you care about how the media will report on this game.
True.
Because as it stands, there will be front page papers going Lionesses crumble, and then the problem that does is it creates a very negative opinion of the England women's team. And I think there will be a desire to win this game and come back to show again that spirit. But yeah, it's interesting. I mean, already you've got, for example, Jeffrey Smith, welcome to the stream, has said champions, laughing face, laugh face, laugh face. He used 3 different laughing face emojis. Congratulations on finding 3 different ones.
I didn't even know there was 3 different ones.
Harry's got 2 emojis on his phone, thumbs up and a laughing face. But yeah, already that will be the media reaction. So it's whether England care, because this is an international friendly.
Yeah.
Ultimately, to any analysts, any pundits, anyone analysing England, to Serena, the result does not matter. The performance does, though. There are problems with this performance, but that is another matter. The result doesn't matter. If England care about the result, then they will leave the best players on the field, and if they don't and they want to see a better performance, then they will take off some of the underperforming players and give players an opportunity.
Yeah, I think the red card also comes into play because it gives you the advantage and it should make it easier to turn around, but also that there'll be those domestic instructions, because you're telling me, does Renee Slagers want Beth Mead, Chloe Kelly and Alessia Russo to all play 90 minutes tonight?
I don't know how many managers give those instructions.
That baffles me, because I think every domestic manager should.
Well, I completely agree. I'm not sure if it's a prevalent thing in the women's game.
Maybe.
Because, you see bronze plays usually 180 minutes every international break. Lauren James comes back and immediately plays, usually every international break. Luckily, she's so far off in this one, Wiegman can't rush her back into selection. Ball into the box, head away well by Russo. Now Dudinha strikes it, and it just goes through the bodies, but wide off the mark.
Dudinha has been absolutely brilliant tonight. Causing
so much space.
Yeah, causing so many problems.
Everyone for Brazil has so much space out there.
Yeah, it's been really, really good. I think that, like, if I'm Renee Slagers, I'm saying to Wiegman, right, Alessia Russo does not play 108 and 180 minutes this international break. If she does, she's not coming in November.
Yeah.
And I guess that you don't want to fracture relationships.
The problem is Russo will say, "Oh, I want to play for England," so Slagers doesn't really have that.
True.
Doesn't have, yeah, exactly.
Due restriction over Russo's decisions.
Yeah. Just doesn't have that card to play, but it is difficult to manage it. The problem is we've got to play these England friendlies, these international friendlies, when no club manager wants any of their players to go and play an international match.
I guess that's the bottom line, really, is that at the end of the day, every single domestic manager in the world would say, I don't want my players playing a single minute.
Yeah, unless it's, a Kelly at City situation. Or, if you looked at this season, who isn't playing, we'd end up with a very weird international break.
It's only players who don't feature consistently.
Jill Scott's back in with a chance. Russo tries to hold it up. There's a pull back there, though. And that will be an England free kick.
I feel for the fans, mostly. A lot of people would have gone tonight. Hoping to watch the Lionesses, see the best players play, see a good performance, and as you say, England just don't really look bothered. Which, again, as you say, it is a friendly, but still, England are only at 60-70% at the moment. If
not even that.
Yeah,
10.
Okay, that's a bit low. I think if it was 10, Brazil would be at 5-0 up by now.
Brazil should be. They've had the chances. I think if Brazil hadn't got a red card, they maybe. I think that's raised England's level. I don't think England have, even looked at trying to play some nice football.
Yeah, the red card is one of those where it happens and England go, right, we've got a lifeline now. We've got to go and use it. We've got to, use that advantage because we can't lose 2-0 to a 10-man team.
Laetitia, Plays it inside. Not enough on that pass, though. And now it's Brazil in possession. Mead there with a great block. And now here come England. Beth Mead brought down off the ball, or on the ball, brought off the pitch with the ball. Well, that tackle from Marisa, and that is going to be a throw in, a free kick. Didn't see what the ref gave there.
Yeah, Brazil's game plan has been ruined by the red card as well, because, I mean, I'm not really sure how the coach can run down the line and clapping that, because that is a terrible foul. But it's one of those where, because they've already lost a player, they've just got to watch that line a little bit. Because, as I say, there's nothing wrong with it, being a physical side and being aggressive, but when you've got all your players on the pitch and you haven't picked up any cards yet, you can kind of flirt with that, being over the top. But because they've already lost a player, they've got to be, because they can't afford another card or another red card, because suddenly the game will just fall away from them.
Yeah, I think another interesting component, and it's brought by someone in chat. I've lost the message here. Dolph, or Chance Now, blocked away. Dolph Man City says, lost it again. Dudinia, Ludmilla, Bia, all NWSL forwards. I think that's an interesting point, because, and it's interesting as to why US lost the other day, but the NWSL league ends next Sunday. That's their last game of the season. They're then into the off-season period, where obviously you have like the playoffs and all that American sports stuff. At least I think that's what's happening. I always get lost. But yeah, they've got one more, what I see as a league game, and then they go into the championship playoff stuff. So it's interesting that they are up for this game, when actually they've probably got the most important part of their season coming up in the next few months, and yet they're coming into this international friendly, and the players that are trying the hardest, the players that are giving everything, are players who, yes, they've already had like a full season, so they're probably sharper, rather than players that have only just come off their rest and are only at the start of their seasons. But equally, it's even more important they don't get injured, because they've got their most important games coming up.
Yeah, exactly that. I think it should form. To be honest, I think personally, what you've got is you've got a Brazil side who, as I said earlier, on the international stage have linked up really well and have played some great stuff together. But domestically, they're all in really good form. You've got a bunch of players who are all shining for their domestic clubs, and it's really showing. And also, you've got a couple of England players out there who have had really good seasons, but you've also got a couple out there who either haven't played or aren't playing.
Looking at the England squad today, who is having a good season? Because I wouldn't say any of the... I'd say Toon's having a good season. I'd say Walsh having a good season. I'd say Letitia's having a good season. The rest of them, Greenwood's missed a few games, missed the first few games through injury, is now back in the Man City squad and is doing okay, but is not 100% fit. Don't know enough about the NWSL to speak on Carter and Morgan. Keating isn't playing football. Stanway, Bayern have done fine, I guess.
Yeah, Stanway is, but then Stanway's had to play every game because every single other defensive midfielder for Bayern is injured at the moment.
And then I don't think any of the Arsenal frontline are playing particularly well at the moment. So it is just a very out of form bunch of players playing with, and it feels they feel unfamiliar out there.
Yeah, I think it's difficult. That's what it's like. England, it looks really difficult for England to play well right now. And whether that's England making it, whether it's England making it difficult for themselves or whether Brazil are just making it really difficult for the Lionesses is an interesting debate. But yeah, it just looks really difficult for England to play football right now.
Ball out wide. Chance now for England. What can they make happen? Mead, and that is blocked well. Alex says, if you guys saw the first half, Spain against Sweden, you'd know Spain the best by a mile. It's literally Barca and Olga. Yeah, we look incredibly stronger if Olga Carmona wasn't in that team. But, if you think about Spain, imagine if England had 10 of their best players all playing for the same team, and that team don't have to play 2 games a week because they dominate their domestic league so easily that they can rest up. Imagine that situation. It would make life easier for England. They would come into the international break and be able to play their strongest side every time. Instead, you look at this England side, it's littered with injuries. And instead, we've got a lot of players who haven't played a lot of football this season. Rousseau trying to break away. What can England make happen? Mead breaking into the box. Can she beat Tarchani? She does. Chance now. Tarchani brings her down. Referee sees it right in front of it. Doesn't give it. What are your thoughts?
I think Tarchani is incredibly lucky. I mean, Mead has made an absolute meal of it. Not the foul, I mean the opportunity. How has Beth Mead not got a shot away initially there? She had 3 chances to pull the trigger, and then I think she did eventually get brought down. And I mean, that was
another foul for Tarchani. That one even more blatant.
Again, this is what I mean. But again, this doesn't get given. It's Brazil getting away with it. Mead does really well. She should shoot there. She holds on to it, and then she is absolutely brought down. I have no doubt in my mind that's a penalty. She gets tripped a little bit there. She then gets kicked there, and then for good measure, she gets kicked with the trailing leg again there.
Absolutely a penalty. Not sure
Stonewall.
how the referee hasn't given that. I think it's one of those where if she hasn't given the red card, she would have given that.
Yeah.
But that's obviously playing on her mind. David says no penalty. What's the justification behind that, David? Greenwood. Ball into the box. Head away well. Kept it off by Morgan, and that is not a great pass. Toon will try and work with it, and she does well. Greenwood, Toon needs some support. And there's an offside flag in there, and that's clumsy from Ella Toon.
Yeah, I haven't got a problem, just on the penalty, I haven't got a problem with the initial little bite on the ankle. It's the one where she steps across her and trips her up, and then Tarchano's back leg just comes through Mead, basically. I think Brazil have got away with one there.
Phil says Kelly and Mead have both been good in limited minutes, just rotated too much with Smith and Ford, who've both been poor so far.
It's consistency. I think it's consistent.
But I don't think Kelly's ever been good from the start. Kelly's great when she comes on for 20 minutes into the game against tired legs, and she, can put a lot of crosses into the box, and more of them are successful. But I don't think she's had a single good performance where she started the game this season for Arsenal. Except perhaps London City. I think she started that game. But London City was so poor that day that it cancels it out. And even then, I don't think Kelly was incredible.
It's one of those. I don't think that there are many. It's consistent.
I don't think Mead's had too bad a season, but again, there has been a lot of rotation there.
Yeah, it's performances. Because as you say, Kelly against City when she came on was really, really good. Mead has had some really good games this season, but they haven't. It's not. You're not consistent. They're not consistently putting in 7, 8 out of 10 performances every single game. But partly, as you said, because they're not playing. Obviously, is the main reason. But it's just.
But Russo's played practically every minute. And hasn't looked good at all.
But she's played as a 10 and played here and there, and I just think...
No, I agree. I think that's a problem with Arsenal's system, but it doesn't help when your striker is coming into the international stage and hasn't looked good this season. Like I think stats-wise, people say, well, she's got 2 goals and 2 assists in 6 games, but I think both those goals were against West Ham, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, both against West Ham after 90 minutes. So, they're not particularly great statistics. That's a good ball over the top. Ludmilla tried to bring it down, couldn't quite manage it.
Yeah, the game has become exactly what Brazil want. No one's playing football, to be completely honest with you. It's become scrappy, aggressive, and whenever England have tried to get something going, Brazil have responded by just taking them out.
Yeah, if you watch this game without the red card in the top left, you wouldn't realise Brazil only had 10 players. Because England haven't looked any better, really.
No.
Brazil have just looked a little less aggressive. Mead plays it into Stanway breaking into the box, and that's blocked really well, and it's out for a goal kick as well. And Zanarotto there, the striker, getting back, doing the defensive work, and she's managed to get a goal kick out of it. Was it a fair call?
No.
It's one of those difficult ones where she kicks into Zanarotto, it comes back, and they both seem to knock it off at the same time.
I think just the way the ball's I think it's where the trajectory of the ball's gone. I'd say the last touch must have come off the defender.
Ball down the line, looking for Ludmilla, and that is a good tackle from Esme Morgan.
That's really well timed, because
I think outside of the 2 big mistakes she's made, she's done well, Morgan.
Yeah, I think Morgan again. She's one of those where whenever she puts on an England shirt, she just does the business. Nothing flashy.
I think both the goals, she was really poor.
Yes.
But then so was Carter.
I think everyone,
so was the midfield.
The whole instance has just not been good enough.
Yeah, Brazil on the ball. Looking to make something happen. Sampaio. Marisa. Ball forwards, held up really well there, and that should be a yellow card for diving. Or Dudinha, because that was pathetic. Rousseau, and that's a heavy touch. She's dispossessed. But this is the thing. Rousseau doesn't look sharp, doesn't look confident in her game. But yeah. Ball forwards, headed away well. And here come England. Kelly. Stanway. trying to shift the ball to the left-hand side. Finds Mead. Strong from Tacciani. And it's a foul on Mead. And again, I think that's a dubious one. They're both fighting each other. Beth Mead's gone round looking for a fight tonight.
Yeah, I think it's the second bit where Tacciani does just kind of bulldoze through her. So this bit is aggressive. I haven't got a problem with that. I think there's this next bit where she just tries to come over her and just goes through her.
I don't know if there's anything. That's Mead committing a foul.
It's just messy.
The ball is not within Beth Mead's control. Beth Mead is just there trying to shield it with her body. Tacciani tries to go around it and Mead holds her leg. I think that's a fortunate England free kick, I have to say.
Yeah.
But equally, there's been ones, the penalty, where Beth Mead was quite blatantly brought down by Tacciani.
But the bottom line of it is that Brazil's game plan is working.
Greenwood in towards the back post, and that is headed away well. I'm optimistic for Brazil. I think home tournament in 2027, they've got to get more interest in women's football. It's the country where football is life. And I think it's the country where football is the most, or I don't know how to describe it, but there's sort of the least barrier for gender, in the sense that at the men's games, you will see a huge contingent of female fans as well as male fans. It's now about getting everyone over to the women's game as well, because there's already so many passionate female football fans in Brazil. I think in other countries, that's been more difficult to sort of gain that interest from women watching the sport. And even in England, where it's incredibly popular, the majority of people who watch it are still men. Headed away well by Letizia, and we've got 5 minutes of additional time as well. Harry was on it before even ITV on that one.
I just knew it.
You saw the scoreboard at the bottom, didn't you?
No.
I saw the board before ITV saw it. Morgan heads it on to Toon, who can't quite meet it. Kelly, Toon, holds it up well.
But yeah, Brazil, they've now won back, we credit England for winning back-to-back European Championships, but Brazil have now won back-to-back Copa Americas. They're silver medalists at the Olympics as well. It's been a brilliant few years for their side, and as you say, it just seems like it's all building up for a brilliant World Cup success. Not saying they're going to win it, but to go deep in it.
I wouldn't be surprised if they won it.
Wow.
Home soil, I think they'll just bully teams, ball into a good area, Tacciani gets in front of it, and that is quite clearly a foul. I think from Stanway, Tacciani is furious about something there.
I think it's been given as England throw, which was the one thing it wasn't in that scenario.
It was either a Brazil throw or a Brazil free kick.
Yeah, Stanway's just come through once she cleared the ball.
Yeah, should have been a free kick for Brazil, and probably a yellow card for Georgia Stanway. But again, I think going into home tournament, the fact they've got that home advantage, the way they play is so aggressive, so physical.
You can stop anyone.
Yeah, and this is a team that doesn't have Carolyn, who I think makes them undoubtedly better coming forwards. Marta, will she come back for the next World Cup? She retired before, she came back for the Copa Femenina and they won it. She's retired again, but will she come back? You never know.
They're one of the only few nations to beat Spain over the last couple of years at that Olympics, and it's simply because they just frustrate them. As we're seeing tonight, you can't play football against this side.
Yeah. Stanway. Unless they get a red card, in which case.
Yes.
And this isn't a representative of England, really.
True.
But yeah, we saw it in that Spain game. We've seen it in previous tournaments. The only side that beat them on the competitive stage in the last 2 years is the USA.
Yeah.
Who could come back and win the World Cup because they have got Emma Hayes exactly for that reason. But
I was like, all this talk be pointless.
Yeah,
sorry.
I forgot. The US are going to win everything again.
Steamroll the World Cup.
Luani driving the ball forwards. Wants to take it out to the right-hand side, and that is clumsy from Kelly. Paul says the pressure of home tournament will be astronomical in Brazil. True, and that does always hurt the men's team, that pressure. But pressure can also make diamonds.
But this I don't care. There's no pressure on them because they just go around and just kick someone.
It depends, because the Brazilian fans are used to cheering on beautiful, Jogo Bonito type football. I hope I pronounced that correctly. But this attractive brand of football. Now they've got to learn how to cheer
Tacciani
a foul every time.
It's like it's going to be a horrible game to referee. Whoever gets Brazil for opening tournament.
Yeah. especially if they're against another South American side. Ball in, flicked on by Tarciane over the bar. But that was not far away from 3-0 Brazil.
I mean, I don't know where Kiara Keating was going with that one. I really don't. She's playing different football with that kind of run. Tarciane gets there first and could have easily found the back of the net.
She was nowhere near it.
Yeah. A, she's jumped behind Tarciane, so she was never going to get there first. And B, just completely misjudged the flight of the ball.
But this talk of the Brazilian World Cup foul for England, by the way. The talk of the Brazilian World Cup reminds me of the Ballon d'Or, where we had there was that bizarre interview with Aitana Bonmati. I'm not sure how many people saw it. It was an insane interview where they're asking, it's a Brazilian broadcaster asking, how excited are you to come to the World Cup? And all these other big stars talk about how excited they are to come and see the cities and stuff. And Bonmati says something along the lines of she's very excited to. Oh no, she's looking for. She's glad it's in Brazil because Brazil need the money to deal with poverty. And I thought, what a strange way to answer that question. It was something along those lines. I haven't got the exact quote. If anyone can find that, that'd be great. But I found that such a bizarre interview.
The thing for me is I remember how good the 2014 World Cup was.
Incredible.
So
but I also remember Lineker talking about when they were covering the game and they were inside their studio and the studio got shot at.
True.
Ball into the box, flicked on, head away. Well, Walsh now from range over the bar on the roof of the net, and that bounces over.
That would have been a great way for England to end the half, but it looks like it is going to end with a 2-goal deficit and a lot of work to do in the second.
She's really been working her ball strike, hasn't she, Kira Walsh? The technique on that volley, sweet. Just doesn't quite get under it and get over it enough. Sorry. That is half time here at the Etihad. England 0, Brazil 2. A fast start for the visitors in this game. He scored 2 early goals and England were half asleep until there was a red card for Angelina as she brought down Toon on the charge or in behind. So at half time it is England 0, Brazil 2.
Very difficult first half for the Lionesses, miles off the pace. Do not look at it, and not a performance that demonstrates the quality of European champions. But, as you say, fair credit to Brazil first and foremost. They have been absolutely brilliant. Talk about executing a perfect game plan, coming at England, starting hard and fast, and then just defending like your life depends on it, and being aggressive, being assertive. And to be honest, I think without the red card for Angelina, Brazil would have carried on to just run the game. They were in cruise control until that red card moment, and since then they've had to drop a bit more defensive. But that is something they're also very capable of doing, and it's the reason why they've won back-to-back Copa Femininas. It's what they do best. It's what the best sides do best. Is being able to play multiple different ways. They went for the game and they were aggressive and attacking in the first 20 minutes. Red card happens and they just drop in. They drop a couple yards deeper, become more aggressive, be a bit more assertive and aggressive defensively, and just take the pace and the sting out of the game. And it's a brilliant talent for a manager and a nation to have, is to be able to play in so many different ways. And it's what Brazil have done superbly in that first 45 minutes. And England have got a lot of work to do, and they're going to have to work blinking hard to turn this game around, because Brazil do not look like letting up. It will get more difficult as the second half goes on. It gets harder and harder the longer you have to play with 10 players. But a big 45 for Brazil, and I think that they will be very, very happy with how that first half has played out.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, 8 shots from Brazil, 3 on target, 5 not quite find the target. England, 4 shots, only 1 on target so far this game, though. 58% possession. They've had all of the ball, but they just haven't really done enough with it. It's just been so lethargic, so disinterested from England. They don't look like a side who care how this game goes. And again, it's very much a symptom of the nature of this match, the fact that it is just a friendly. But it's a shame. It should be a privilege to put on the shirt, and instead it feels like an inconvenience for these players, which I get. The club performances, the club season is so much more important at this stage, but you want to see more from England. You want to see more desire out there. Instead, we've seen a lot of scrappiness, not just literal scrapping. We've seen a lot of pushing, a lot of shoving, a lot of arguing with Brazilian players, and making it less about just playing the ball around them and instead getting drawn into this argument. And that's exactly what Brazil want to do. They're putting in the challenges. They want to get under England's skin. But, I mean, Brazil on 11 fouls committed at half-time, but England aren't far off it on 7. So England have lowered themselves really to Brazil's level. Let's talk about structure, because England haven't really had any of it. The defence tonight just doesn't make any sense. We're seeing Leticia overlapping a little bit, but not really making an overlapping run. She's pushing up, but it's not as aggressive as you'd expect from a right back. And it just doesn't feel like England have much of a way to progress the ball.
Yeah, exactly that. Leticia has barely touched the ball this evening because she's kind of she's gone half and half, and that means that she's just in the wrong place at the wrong time, which is every time, because she's not getting high enough to contribute when England come forwards, or to make Brazil think, or to put pressure on the back line of the away side. So she's not getting high enough, but she's also not really deep enough to be part of the build-up or to be part of the defensive unit. So she's kind of just in no man's land, halfway up that touchline, and no one's really getting involved with her because she's in a position where she's not really helping anyone. She's not helping England going forwards or defensively. So she's just in a really weird yo-yo position where she's just not getting involved, which is what we expected, because the centre-half in her is pulling her back. But in the role that she's in, she understands she's trying to push forward, and she's just getting caught in between, and it's making for a real mess, because it just means that she's trying. I don't think she's really touched the ball, because she's never in a position to contribute positively to England's play.
Yeah, I think when she has touched the ball, it's been to make a connecting pass or just, to play a pass inside to midfielder who can actually do something. It's not her role. I don't think it's insane to say that. I don't think it's a surprise to say that. It's exactly what I said on last week when I discussed it. When I discussed the squad coming out, it's exactly what I said yesterday when I discussed who should start in this game. It's exactly what we've been saying for months regarding Leticia in the England squad. She's a centre-back. She should be playing centre-back. She would have dealt with both of the goals a lot better than the players who are playing centre-back. But there were early warning signs. Morgan getting caught out, and then the goal comes. Again, both have come, by the way, from England failing to play out from the back. Not Brazil driving forwards. And this was really weak from both centre-backs.
Yeah, it's not good enough. I said it at the time that for Morgan there, if you're going to push up and get onto the striker and be aggressive, you have to win the football. But instead, Dudina just chests it down, plays it over Morgan's head, and suddenly Brazil are in. And Carter is stuck in a one-on-one that she loses badly, and Brazil score. But if you're Esme Morgan there, as a defender, you either drop off and allow the player to work in with a little bit of space, or if you're going to get tight, you have to turn the ball over, because if you step up and don't win it, you leave loads of space behind you, and that's exactly how Brazil scored.
The problem is she's pushed up onto a player where Keira Walsh is already there. So Walsh can't drop in to replace her, because Morgan is already committed. Because if Keira's already there, Morgan commits. They're both then there trying to deal with the same player. Neither of them do, and that leaves so much space. Carter has to do a lot better. She just can't keep up at all with Bia Zanarotto. That was the problem in that move. Zanarotto burst away from her and then slotted it home. As for the other one, I don't know what Toon was trying to do in the middle of the park. I thought that was really weak from Ella Toon, really poor. I think she's got to shift that ball quicker. Instead, she dawdles on it, gets caught, forwards come Brazil. And again, it's so poor from both centre-backs, and I think Keating should probably do better.
Yeah, it was sloppy, it was slow from England, and the Brazil pressure. I mean, they had 3 or 4 yellow shirts just hounding Stanway and Toon, and they were always going to win. You could just tell they were always going to win the ball back in that situation, and it's just too easy. With Brazil running at them, England get on their heels, but they don't stop the options, and that is what really stunned me, was that how was Dudina allowed so much space out wide, and she just ran off, as you do when you're coming forward. Your player in the centre has got the ball, and the 2 players either side of her get wider and wider, and usually they end up having to go too wide because they've got players near them. But Carter just didn't follow her. Ball gets played to Dudina, and she pokes it past Keating, and it was a really good piece of play, because she catches Keating out by taking a touch and then quickly just prodding it in at the near post. She could have taken a touch, waited, and then tried to slot it into the far corner, and Keating would have probably read that. But by taking that touch and then quickly just poking it towards goal, it caught Keating flat-footed, and it beat her off the inside of the post. So, again, really good, smart play from Brazil in the final third, and England got caught out by it. And again, the lack of organisation was really exposed by Brazil there.
Yeah, Helen not happy with my comments, saying it's overcritical. They're great 99% of the time. Well, that's fine, but they're not great tonight. And I don't blame them for not caring. I don't blame them for not being interested tonight. This is a game where a lot of these players have a much more important match coming up next weekend. This isn't an important game for any international side, apart from the Nations League teams, if they really care about the Nations League. But overall, this is just a friendly. It's a chance for players to get opportunities, and instead, Wiegman has thrown out the same 11, bar the goalkeeper, which is a forced change, that we've seen multiple times. We're learning nothing new right now. If we were 2-0 down, but we were watching someone like a Grace Fisk hand an opportunity, someone like Lucia Kendall, Missy Bow-Kearns, I don't think we would be 2-0 down if those players were given chances. But instead, it's the same players who haven't been good enough who, aren't offering enough in this game. The centre-backs, too easily beaten. The defensive midfielders, too easily beaten. That midfield has not been in this game at all tonight. But is it any surprise when Walsh and Stanway are both playing in, have much more important games on the horizon for their club sides than a game like tonight? Why not hand an opportunity to someone like Kendall or Missy Bow-Kearns, players who would love to play for England, who'd love that opportunity, especially when we haven't seen anyone else play defensive midfield for years now, since Jill Scott retired. We've not seen anyone else given a go in that pivot. We saw Mace in one game, then she got injured. Other than that, we've not seen other defensive midfielders. So why not hand opportunities to players? There's definitely players missing in this England squad. Leah Williamson, can't underestimate how much of a loss that is. Same for Lauren James, same for Lauren Hemp. Arguably England's 3 best players there, not in the squad tonight. But still, hand players opportunities. Letitia is given opportunity tonight, but it's out of position. And I know there's not many right backs. But why not play someone like Niamh Charles there? So you can play Letitia in her best position. I don't think you'd be 2-0 down if it was that same situation. But instead, England have played the same 11 again. And I just don't think... I don't blame the players for not giving 100% tonight, because they don't want to get injured. But still, I think you want England to win every game. You want it to be interesting for fans. I'd rather give opportunities. And thank you, Helen, for saying appreciate your point. I do appreciate that, because some people in chat... when they do leave comments, aren't particularly happy when I respond. But I think it's difficult because these players don't want to get injured, but then give opportunities to players who would take that risk to play for their country. That, would be the argument for me. Phil's saying, I'm always amazed. Oh, sorry, that's about the US. Let's talk England. Paul saying passing hasn't been good enough tonight. Absolutely. I don't think the passing has been good enough. I think, again, the defence don't look comfortable with one another. They don't look familiar. Do you think that's correct, Harry?
Yeah, I think it's one of those where it's not a back three that we expect to see or we're used to seeing. You've had of Greenwood, or in the situation of back three of Greenwood, Morgan and Carter. It doesn't help that for the first 20, 30 minutes, England were swapping Carter and Morgan around because they didn't know what to do. You've got 2 players there that... For England, I think Morgan and Carter have looked pretty solid as that central centre half when it does go to the back three with the ball. Morgan and Carter both played that role at the Euros and they both did okay. Morgan in that Euros final as a central centre half looked absolutely brilliant. Where she's been caught out is because she's been put as a wide centre half.
But there's a lot of crucial elements to that, and that is that one, Leah Williamson is the right centre half who covers that then really importantly, and 2, the defensive midfield are playing a lot better in a game like that than they are today. So yeah, I definitely take your point, but I think Carter in that back line, one of Carter and Morgan is fine because you can make up for their mistakes with the defenders around them. But without a Williamson tonight, it's criminal Letitia isn't centre half.
And it's also
she's the only player that can match what Leah Williamson does, and you've put her right back, and she can't match what Lucy Bronze does. Very few players can, because how on earth you can play a Euros final with a broken leg and still run up and down and still be that attacking force, I'm not sure. But you need a right back. So much of England's system relies on a midfield that are very good at getting the ball wide and wide players who are very good at carrying the ball forwards. And without Hemp and Bronze tonight, you can't really function in the same way that you would like to, where those wide players can carry the ball forwards, who can link up with the interior players, so your Ella Toons, your whoever else you want to play in that midfield, or Stanway, players like that. So they are really missing that at the moment, England. So it's not a perfect situation in this game, but I think if you had a right back who wants to get forward rather than playing a centre half there, I think Kelly hasn't got on the ball at all, which isn't a huge surprise to me. She never impacts games that she starts. She's a fantastic bench player, but she doesn't have enough of an impact on matches when she starts in them, I don't think. So, yeah, I think that'll end up being a change. I'd like to see Jess Naz given a go. I think she will run at those Brazil defenders and take them on, I hope. She's just been starting to do it for Tottenham this season.
Yeah.
I think if she can continue that, if she can get the confidence from that to keep playing that way, then she could be incredibly dangerous in the second half. So I'd like to see her given a go. As I say, I've already said I want to see someone like Kendall given a go. She's been excellent for Aston Villa this season. Same for Missy Bow-Kearns. If there aren't any changes at the break, I'll be massively disappointed again.
Yeah, the pivot has to change. I think, again, part of that comes from reading the room. It hasn't. It hasn't. But Georgia Stanway, for example, currently is playing for a Bayern Munich side that in that defensive midfield position have Erbadorf injured, Zadrazil injured, Caruso injured. There's someone else I'm missing who's been out for a while. I can't remember who that is there. But they're missing 4 defensive midfielders. So Georgia Stanway, right now, for her club, is the only fit midfielder, and she's having to play every single minute. So if I'm the international manager, I realise that and I go, okay, so what I'm not going to do is play her for 180 minutes across this international break. Why would you don't play her in this game? And that, again, it's just about read the room, make sense, understand what your players are going through. Georgia Stanway has barely missed a beat since she came back from injury this season for Bayern Munich. And no wonder she looks tired tonight because she's just non-stop. Same with Kira Walsh at Chelsea. Walsh has played the majority of the minutes and they just look tired.
And you've got Kendall and Missy Bow-Kearns who, if you want to have that understanding, well, you've got 2 players there who have played together in 3-4 matches this season at club level. So why not just put them both in and give them that opportunity? That's what's very interesting to me. Helen says, are we normally stronger in the second half than the other team? We should be, especially with Brazil on 10 players. England should definitely raise their level. Whether or not that will happen in this game, we'll have to see. I think you bring someone on like Adjamang and she'd offer a huge physical battle to those Brazilian centre-halves, which I think is really important. I don't think Russo can compete physically with any of those Brazilian defenders. I think you need someone like Beaver Jones out wide to bring a bit of pace into this game, bring a bit of goal scoring into this game. But yeah, we've not really seen enough from England's front line. Alex says, Jack, you can't always rely on Leah in defence because she's often injury prone and could even miss World Cup 27. Yeah, I mean, that's 2 years away. But Letitia does what Williamson does, arguably better. Brazil gets back underway here in this game at the Etihad. And what can England do? Can they find a way back into this international friendly? But yeah, I think Letitia replaces what Williamson does to the same degree. In my mind, she's arguably the better player. Williamson's obviously leadership is a different matter. I think that leadership you don't get the same level, but that's because Williamson is established at international level now. But Letitia is playing right back tonight. I don't really understand. Letitia is getting forwards now though. Mead tries to poke it through the lines, a little too slow with that one though. One back high though. Great reaction from Beth Mead. Letitia is in an offside position, so that will be, was it a free kick? I'm not 100% sure.
Free kick. Not sure what for either. Yeah. I'd imagine it was something Beth Mead off the ball. And this is the thing, is they've got up the level, but also stop getting involved with Brazil. England's one of the biggest problems in that first half was they were dropping down to the Brazil level, getting involved in that argy-bargy, niggly fight, unnecessary. It doesn't need to do it. If England just need to play their stuff up, get through the gears, and then see how Brazil react. But because England are getting involved in these niggles and they're kicking out and they're silly fouls and they're getting involved in that rough and tumble element of the game, that's just playing into Brazil's hands. Yeah. England have got to rise above it, like champions should do, and just get on with it. If you get kicked lumps out of, fair enough. You just get up and get on with it. Alessia Russo, she's being held and she's spun round. I mean, that is dreadful, and it will be a yellow card because she's being held while she was holding the ball up, and as she went to turn, Haas pulls her back. Yeah. Easy yellow card.
Quite an obvious one. Well, I find it interesting, just looking at the ages, because there's a lot of talk, and I think CFW talks makes a great point, saying Brazil plays a little bit more athletic, quicker to the loose ball and closing down. England need to play more width and stretch that back line. Completely agree with everything said there. But when you look at ages of these squads, Brazil have a lot of younger players, have a lot more young players than England, but they've actually, both sides have 2 over 30s. But you wouldn't think that England's squad only had 2 players over the age of 30.
Yeah.
With how slow and how lethargic it's looked out there tonight. And obviously, they haven't got their quicker players out there, England, and there doesn't seem to be that same intensity or urgency that Brazil have. But still, the number of 26, 27-year-olds for England on the field that look at 30-ish now, but by the way they're playing, is worrying. Here comes Chloe Kelly. What can she do now? Wants to take on Tarchiani, goes to the outside. Tarchiani, though, stands her up well, wins the ball back. Kelly tries to win it back, but Tarchiani sees her off, and there's a foul in there from Kelly for good measure. And so, I'm not sure whose thrown it's been given there. I think it's an England throw, is indeed. Tarchiani thought it was a foul, but it was a push after the ball had gone out of play. Russo into the box, and that's cleared away well, and Luani flicks it over her head. I've seen since she's joined Arsenal, Kelly's become really good at off-the-ball pushing. That's the best thing she's developed this season. That's clumsy from Carter. Dodinia on the break, and that's a yellow card for Jess Carter. And again, she had to do that because she was not keeping up with Dodinia.
No.
Who's looked ridiculously good tonight.
Just knocks the ball past her and gets taken out.
Not a player I'm super familiar with, but she's a star, Dodinia.
And this is where the game's going to become interesting because, as you say, you mentioned at the half that it was 11 fouls to Brazil and 7 to England. And now we've got ourselves a situation where every single foul since the break has been a yellow card. Yeah. And again, it's an interesting way to referee a football match, but that's the problem that England are going to have now, is that they keep dropping to Brazil's level and getting involved in the scrappy, fouling players. They're just going to keep picking up yellow cards and giving away silly free kicks.
I'm not sure how Brazil on 15 fouls. I've not seen the 4 fouls they've committed in this second half. But
what's it, 15 fouls and only 1 yellow and 1 red?
Well, they had 11 in the first half.
Oh yeah.
So they've committed 4 fouls apparently in the first 4 minutes of the second. I've not seen all of those. I don't know whether they've added 1 from the first half, but England in possession. What can they make happen? Walsh. Carter. Carrying it forwards. Plays it into Russo. Russo touched it on to Mead, who is brought down in there. Does get a shot away. And then it's a mess, and the referee does give a penalty. It's a slightly delayed response, but there is the penalty for England. Mead arrives on the edge of the box. She's brought down. We'll have to see a replay. It looked like a penalty immediately. The referee, tried to play on, allow England the chance to score. But after the shot had been taken, it really should have been given immediately.
Yeah, absolutely stonewall. Yeah. Mead takes the shot and then gets cleaned out. I'm not sure why it took the referee so long to give it. But yeah, just gets DLC it. Mead gets the shot away and then gets taken out.
And this could be the problem for Brazil. Is that as much as you can play the sort of super aggressive style, they've had a red card in this game. There should have been a penalty in the first half, and there's now a penalty in the second half.
Yeah, it's what I said.
You can't go in like that.
No, it's an interesting game plan, but I mean, look at this, and they're lucky to not picking up more because they've got 5 players crowding the referee, complaining about this decision. You can't do that. If
Heaslip was the ref, Brazil wouldn't have a player on the field.
You can't do that at this level, and other referees, not in a friendly, in a proper competition, they're going to get themselves in trouble. And I don't want to criticise the way teams like to play because every team plays different, but this aggressive physical brand of football, it does get to a point where it crosses the line and it doesn't work out, which is exactly what we're seeing here. They could throw this game away because they're being way too aggressive. Whoa.
So it is Georgia Stanway to take the penalty for England. No surprise there. England's usual penalty taker. Can she dispatch of it from the spot? You surprised by that?
Well, Kelly had the ball in her hands. Russo gave it to Kelly.
Stanway usually takes penalty though for England.
Yeah.
So Stanway steps up and lashes it home. It went through the hands of goalkeeper Loreno. But it is Lorena just about in the back of the net, and England have a goal back in this game. It's England 1, Brazil 2. Georgia Stanway from the spot. And yeah, she stepped up, fired it in the bottom corner. Lorena should save that. She's read it all the way. If she extends the arms there, she saves it.
Yeah, should have saved it. England, even the penalty wasn't convincing. He put away. Not been England's night tonight, but Stanway has a goal. and England are back in this game. And again, Brazil's aggressive and physical nature could be their downfall in this football match.
I think I really should push on and win this.
Yeah, you can be as brilliant as you want coming forward, but if your way to defend
Great pressure from Mead.
People.
Letitia, but also you've got to commit the foul a lot higher. Toon, lovely pass around the corner to Kelly. Toon. Back to Mead. Pokes it through the lines into Stanway. Cuts it back and it's blocked well there by Tarciane. But England finding now their style. And Brazil a little bit under pressure.
Yeah, Brazil are going to have to hang in there for a little bit because you expect England to really start to up the momentum now. Use that goal and try and put a bit more pressure onto this Brazil backline and get yourself a leveller. This corner has got to be better than the first few deliveries with Simper and Greenwood.
Indeed, and it's Greenwood over this again. What can she do from this corner? And she will deliver it. That is a wayward delivery. Mead will try and keep it alive, but this is going to be back to Morgan. Now Kelly, can she pick out a good ball? Not a great delivery. Toon now on the edge. Mead. Toon, can she create something? Over the head of Dudinya to Kelly. Pokes it back to Greenwood. Kelly. Sticks it in the area. Mead at the back post. Heads it into the box. Lorena rises highest and claims it.
It just felt like England kept recycling the ball without actually putting it in the box.
It's a lot of poor crosses.
Yeah, it wasn't one of those where recycle it, put the ball in, spills back out again, recycle it, put it back in. It was just recycle, didn't know how to actually put it in there.
Ludmilla, and that is blocked away by Letitia. Kelly, Toon, gifts away possession, strike from range! Whistling past the far post. Toon is not having a good game tonight.
No.
What is this? It's dealt with well initially by Letitia. Stanway, sorry, just passes it to the opposition and doesn't then get out to it.
She's knackered.
It's criminal. Criminal from Georgia Stanway, that.
Yeah.
But then take her off.
Yeah.
She's passed the ball to the opposition there and then failed to put any pressure on the ball. It's unbelievable. Here come England. Morgan is the one driving forward the England attack, but the pass to Russo is poor. And now here come Brazil. Carter heads it down. Walsh. Greenwood back to Carter. Phil says, yeah, Toon's had a poor game. I think all the midfield has, to be fair. That one wasn't Toon, so I do retract that. But still, throughout this game, she struggled. The midfield just isn't working at the moment. And the problem is, it's probably Brazil's strength, is that midfield. And it's just getting overrun. But there's 3 players in there for England. There are 2 for Brazil. 1 now, actually. And yet, they're getting outnumbered. Rousseau wants to run off the shoulder a pass. Nice turn. Puts it into the area. Lorena claiming it well, though. Gretchen says Lorena, best women's keeper. I wouldn't say so, but she's definitely a good goalkeeper. It says no, it's Fallon. Tychoice is also a very good goalkeeper. I don't think she's the best, though. Carter brings that down well. 2. Good hold up. Now Walsh. Back to Morgan. How long till changes? And how many?
Now. 5. No.
Is it unlimited subs? It's a friendly.
Can
we make 11?
I don't think we can.
Can we bring on a different team?
No.
Greenwood wants to go in behind. Tarciane will get there.
I would say...
Alawani. Great pressure from Greenwood.
If it was me, I'd say anywhere in the next 4 minutes and 3.
Yeah, I'd say as quickly as humanly. But it's Brazil that are making changes.
And that is 3.
Brilliant. I think as quick as humanly possible, I would want a change in midfield. Probably Stanway off for Blinkilda Brown.
Yeah.
I would want a change at centre-back. I'd like to see Neve Charles come on at right-back and Letitia go centre-back. But if we can't get that, then Fisk. I don't really mind who goes centre-back. Someone needs to go centre-back. Kelly coming forward. I'd like to see a change either for Toon or Kelly. Rousseau, great hold-up. Stanway tries to get it back to Rousseau. And you've got Gadjamang on there very quickly. Here's Chloe Kelly, and that is a really poor shot. She's not been involved in this game at all, Kelly. First time she's really got into a central area and took a shot, and that is a wayward attempt. But yeah, she had the time, she had the space.
Yeah.
Just completely mishits it. It's further away from her foot than she expects, so she doesn't make the right contact with it at all. She
tries to wrap her foot round it and ends up travelling it out the ground. But yeah, England need to now react to those Brazil changes, because if Brazil make those changes in the next minute and they have a good, they get 5 minutes while those players are on the pitch, they could easily take advantage of that. I mean, I have no idea what is going on there. Kelly has committed an offence, and then it's just decided to hold on to the ball. Luani and Tatiana trying to wrestle it out of her hands, and then they've all just started fighting each other. It's so pointless. In an international friendly.
I like Tatiana there with a little like mimicking and the way that she went up to her.
In an international friendly, I don't know why is Kelly holding on to that football?
I don't know what Kelly's doing, to be honest. And then Toon and Greenwood are just looking for it to shout.
But yeah, again, 5 minutes to go in the Euros final. Absolutely, hold on to that ball, throw it in the river, or get out on the ground. But what's the point? That's just so petty in this kind of game. And again, it shows England getting frustrated and getting drawn into stupid, silly battles. She should just throw the ball on the floor and get on with the game.
Yeah, Wiegman should be taking her off for Viva Jones and going over and having that conversation. Yeah. What are you doing there? Rousseau, back into the box. Chance for Kelly. Can't quite get there. And it's blocked wide. And, well, England couldn't quite find the back of the net from that one.
Yeah, again, good work from Russo. Cuts it back, and it's a big block in there from Tatiana beating Kelly. Did she beat Kelly too, or did she just reflect Kelly's effort? Deflected Kelly's effort.
Just enough. Gets in the way. Corner now for England. And it's Kelly over it. Can she make something happen from this set piece? It's ball way too close to the goalkeeper. It's not a great delivery. And Lorena does well to pluck it out of the air. And now Brazil can break. Ludmilla, good defending from Morgan. And now here's Russo. Can she pick out a teammate? Back now to Greenwood. Morgan. Now it's the right-hand side. And it's Letitia. Kelly. Toon back towards Kelly. Cut out well. Also, again, though, to Ella Toon. And that's poked how to play well by Dudinha.
Brazil are just dropping in defending their penalty area. Now they concede that goal. England have got to find a way through. Not bad from Russo, but Tatiana deals with that.
Here is Morgan. Carter. Back to Esme Morgan. And it's Carter again. Letitia. Lovely pass into Kelly. Kelly tries to cut it back. It's blocked well. And again.
The other thing that intrigues me about this Brazil team is that, like, you watch... we watched Tatiana at Lyon, and she looks like a pretty classy and, well-oiled and well-rounded defender. And then she seems to put a Brazil shirt on and just go, I'm going to be really annoying and just kick everyone. And that's how I'm going to play. It's really interesting to see the difference based on which team she's playing for and what system she's involved in.
CVN letter says, in a friendly game, the referee shouldn't have given that red card. The game lost its balance after the red card. Weidman should have said, we don't want her sent off. They don't, I know obviously it's a game of football, but no one really... This is important for understanding tactics. So I do agree with you on that. Obviously, the ref has to give it as a red. It's on Weidman to say, actually, we don't want that because we want to try and play football against a representative 11.
Yeah, at lower league and at other levels, you usually see in friendly games that the referee will show the red card and then both managers will agree to keep the player on the pitch.
As a friendly in the summer, I think it was Ajax versus someone, and the managers both agreed between them that we gain nothing from playing this game with 10 players versus 11.
Yeah.
So I do get your point. Ref has to give it though. It's a red card. Ref has to give it. It's whether the managers want otherwise. But obviously for Weidman, she wants the result. tonight,
And-
rather than learning anything about players.
And on this kind of stage, it's very difficult to do. You can do it at a non-league or semi-professional level where everyone understands the situation. But you've got 50, 60,000 people packed into the Etihad tonight. And I think they'd be pretty annoyed if the Brazil players came running back on after she was sent off.
Yeah, absolutely. So, changes for both sides. We'll try and muddle our way through all of them. It's a triple change for Brazil and a double change for England. For England, it is Lucy Bronze on to right back, Jess Carter off. Maya Letitia, don't want to panic anyone out there. Maya Letitia is playing centre back for England.
Oh my days.
I think that's why the bloke outside's letting off fireworks.
Yes, Beaver
on the 25th of October for no real reason.
Beaver Jones on for Kelly as well.
Yeah, I think that's a good change. That was always going to happen.
Oh my days. Letitia, she's done it.
Incredible stuff. Gretchen says 2027 World Cup in Brazil will be lit. I can't wait. What on earth is Esme Morgan doing there? Luckily, that's not on target. Keating just about keeps it in touch. Pulls over off the pitch. What? I don't know what that was. Anyway, Letitia on the ball at centre back. Lovely pass to Morgan.
Let's get back in the game.
Walsh. Now Letitia. Back to Walsh. Much better passing. Forward pass from Walsh isn't great though. Ruined the fun. It's cleared away over the head of Greenwood and Bruninha. One of the changes for Brazil, chasing her down. Those changes were Bia Zanerato off for Ari Borges. Bruninha on as well for Yasmin. And then I think there was a third one as well.
There were two more.
I think it was
four.
Four changes in total.
Lawani's come off as well. And I'm trying to work out who the fourth player was that came off. There was another person involved.
Wow.
Ferreira's also come on at some point. I can't remember the fourth change.
Be great if we had some more substitution graphics, but
they have happened.
Oh, okay, that happened earlier.
Just trying to remember from my memory of what I read, which isn't great. 25 minutes though, and England realistically need 2 goals, or would like 2 goals.
Now Beaver Jones cuts inside, takes aim, blocked well. Lovely move from Beaver Jones though. Beat the keeper, but the centre half jumps in front of it. Really good defending there.
Huge block again. Really,
Melisa recovers so well.
Brought forward brilliantly by Morgan. Beaver Jones cuts back, beats Tatiana, and again she's not tried to fight her, not tried to beat her up. It's just cut inside and taken a shot, and that's a huge block. If not Lorraine, it would have been called into action.
Zato says, what's the drama with Letitia about? Just the fact that Serena Wiegman seems to think she's a right back. Which I just find bizarre. I think a lot of people find bizarre.
It's more when you watch your centre halves struggle for 60 minutes.
And you've got one of the best centre backs in the world playing right back.
Yeah.
Ball in, headed on, and that is kept alive. Almost there. Is it a corner?
Corner.
It will be.
Yeah. Initially, it's the wrong decision. Beaver Jones should lead this for Bronze, who's diving, headering it in. But she managed to
got the communication there.
But Russo does well to just kick it into Tatiana and win a corner. And it did hit Russo last, but she was already off the pitch. Yeah. Tatiana did not believe that. Shock.
So now another corner.
This has to be a better corner from Greenwood. Tonight the corners have not been good enough. This has got to be a good ball in, on the money. Put pressure on that Brazil penalty area.
Ball into the box. Good delivery. Lorena pushes it away only as far as Walsh on the edge, who will try and clip it towards goal, but that's wide of the mark and into the home crowd.
It's not quite the effort that she scored against France at the Euros, was it?
Not quite.
Again, it's a decent punch, and it just falls awkwardly for Walsh. She has to take 2 touches because she wants it on her right foot, and then she just tries to curl it into the top corner and gets it horribly wrong.
Indeed. Bruninha. Lovely pass round the corner. That's cut out well by Morgan. Stanway. Walsh. Now Morgan. Shame neither of the substitutes were... I think they're the right subs, but we've still seen no involvement for anyone who isn't already an established England player. Morgan. Driving forward, strikes it on her right foot. Not enough behind that, though. Good drive forwards. Final ball isn't there, though, and I'm not expecting it to be, but should have shifted it, probably.
Yeah, that's where it's coming. That's where it's coming for England. Is Morgan's getting, because Brazil is sitting so deep, the centre halves are getting opportunities to push up. It's how Beaver Jones got her chance. Morgan just drove into space and then laid it across to Beaver Jones to get a shot on goal. It's exactly what England have got to do. Get high at the pitch and then get the centre backs, high, get them running at Brazil.
Great drive forward here for Beth Mead. Tries to play it across to Toon. It's cleared away. It's Greenwood. And there is a foul before that for England.
Everything's just so delayed. That foul happened 5 seconds ago. And England had already regained possession and were hoping to play football again. But yeah, it was Louise Miller just recovering, tripping up Mead, who did keep going, but then played a really poor pass across the pitch.
Referee feeling sorry for her.
Yeah. Yeah. England would probably like to score soon. Again, got to be on the money from Greenwood. Plenty of options in that penalty area for how to pick out. Although, to be fair, compared to that Brazil back line, there doesn't look to be many inferior players in the air.
Chance now for England. Ooh. Played out to the right-hand side. Mead puts it in there. Russo with all the goals going for.
Wow.
And that is a big miss from Alessia Russo. Got to do better there.
How would she miss that? What a chance.
Great delivery from Mead. Yeah, Russo just gets
under it.
Gets under it.
Ball's on top
she's
of that.
Gone too early, really, with the run.
It's like the Carter one earlier from the Greenwood free kick at the crossbar. She just overran it. She was too close. She got there. She arrived on the scene too early.
Yeah, that was just above her. But yeah, big miss.
What a chance.
From Alessia Russo. Alex asks, Jack, do you think Blinkilder is more defensive or an offensive midfielder? I think she's got the skill set to do both. I think traditionally an attacking midfielder. I think what we've seen so far this season is that she's become a more of a defence midfielder under Yeglert. I think she's done that role incredibly well. So yeah, I think she can do both. I think she can play as a box-to-box very effectively. I think she can do it in both, in all areas of the pitch, really. So yeah, that versatility will be very useful for England. Letitia. Forward pass. Not held onto by Russo, and Brazil now will break out to the right-hand side. Good defending from Bronze. Here's Toon. Mead. Bronze running down the line. Cut out well, though. Back to Mead. Stanway. And it's Letitia. Back now to Morgan. Looking left and right. I think it says a lot about how poor England have been tonight that the first sub wasn't Toon. Morgan tried to make it through the lines, cut out well, because she's just looked really poor in this game.
Yeah.
Bronze. Letitia. But she didn't look as bad as Carter or Kelly. Strike out from Morgan, just wide again. She wants a goal tonight, Esme Morgan. She just keeps driving forwards.
I said it.
I feel she's got to shift it though.
Yeah, England are getting so much joy from Morgan running up because Brazil are just backing off her. But as you say, I love the fact she's back into her to score, but from 20 yards out. But I'd rather just play the pass across.
Yeah. I think there are better options on. And now a change coming for Brazil, and that's going to be the end of Ludmilla's game.
I'll tell you the one reason Toon doesn't come off is because Wiegman does not back the options that she's got. If you've got a Clinton or a Park on the bench, she throws her on. But Wiegman does not back a Blinker, a Brown, or a Kearns, or someone else to come into that role. And that's where the frustrations come. That's where the problems come. They're part of your squad. Use them.
Mara now coming on for Brazil. Yeah, Blinker is probably the only attack midfielder. I guess Missy Bowkans can play that role as well, can't she? We've just seen a lot of her in defence midfield for Villa. But yeah, I'd get someone who can play that attack midfield role on the field now.
I mean, the moment Missy Bowkans playing, Blinker around, playing ball girl. That's not what she should be doing. Just one of those where she's kind of sent out to warm up for a bit of a show.
Tachiane. Nice pass inside. Good hold up from Dudinya. And Brazil being forced back now. Clipped out to the right-hand side, and Bruninia's never getting to that one. Sham says, do you expect to see Jess Naz in these games? It'll be interesting, because Naz definitely deserves an opportunity, but she wasn't called up in the initial squad. So whether we'll see her or not will be interesting. I think it's the same situation for Grace Fisk, who I believe the last time she was called up, Gary Neville was... not Gary Neville, Phil Neville was manager, right?
Yes, he was. It was Gary
Lovely
Neville.
ball down the line. Bronze thinks it past the keeper wide of the mark, though. Last to look to square it there.
Yeah. It's a really good piece of goalkeeping because Lorena there has done well to cover the cutback while also not allowed, because of the byline, Bronze just hasn't got enough room. Yeah.
So I spoke about this. Anyone who watched the Ndozi video, all three of you, thank you. But that's proactive goalkeeping, getting out there and before the shot comes rather than reacting to the shot. And she forces Bronze's hand there.
Yeah.
And that's why that became so difficult for Bronze, because that cutback option was off, but so was shooting. Whereas if she doesn't come out, if she just stands on her goalpost like a lot of goalkeepers would, then Bronze has got the option to cut it back, and that could be dangerous. Russo. Back now to Letitia. Here is Toon. Wide now into Bronze. Wants to come inside well.
What is going on?
There.
That's 7 players on the floor because everyone keeps smashing into each other. Duda collided with Bronze and went down, and Brazil's response was to just let's all fall on the floor and I don't really know. Bronze, the free kick has been given against Bronze. I'm really not sure how that's against Bronze.
They got fouled twice.
Just don't understand.
Bizarre.
So this is that. It's that one there. That's not Bronze. Bronze been tripped up, and Duda's hurt herself tripping Bronze up. What a mess that is.
Sampao doing well there to get a free kick.
Yeah.
Phil says that Phil Neville era was awful. He dropped Farrell Williams. Yeah. Phil Neville, much like Gary, I don't think the Nevilles were made for management, which is ironic because Tracy Neville's probably the best netball manager we've ever seen.
I mean, I don't know anything
about netball.
Do you know any
He's the only netball manager I've ever seen. So that's why she's the best. I'm sure there's others, but for me, Tracy Neville is the best. Shouts us, how long have you guys been doing videos? On women's football, we've been doing them 2 years now. It's coming up 2 years this month, actually.
Yes.
Started in October 2023. So, yeah.
Wow.
Beaver Jones drives forward, trying to play it into Russo. Not how to play well, though. And England, they just couldn't quite hold on to the ball while being fouled.
Brazil are just so good. I've never seen a referee officiate like this, by the way. Pull time in for a conversation, talk to them, and then they try and argue back. Just throw your arms out and tell them to get away. Come here, talk to me. Right, this is what happened. No, leave.
Get away from me.
But you can't try and talk to a player, and as soon as they try and have a conversation, just tell them to go away.
I says, guys, we need Taylor Hines on the pitch. Obviously came back from Jamaica. We don't need that. We just don't. I feel for everyone in that situation. It's like, I feel for Jamaica because Hines wanted them when she couldn't get England, and now I know she put out a message saying that she was happy to be in the Jamaica squad. Sorry, she was proud of her Jamaican heritage, but also proud of her English nationality and stuff like that. And so, technically there's nothing wrong with that, but I think it was poor to switch. But also, I don't understand the decision to switch.
No.
If she stays with Jamaica, she will play at the 2027 World Cup because Jamaica will qualify and she's a better fullback than anyone they've got.
Yeah.
If she plays for England, she will not make the squad for the 2027 World Cup. No. I very much doubt it. So it's just a bizarre decision for me to decide that rather than playing for a country at the World Cup, a country that is apparently very close to your heart, you decide instead that you want to play an international friendly for England.
Yeah. And
she may not even get on.
Yeah.
She's not. If she's at the World Cup, something's gone horribly wrong with defenders.
Yeah. It's one of those where, it sounds harsh, but the reality of it is that you've also got to consider quality. Most players that switch, they switch because the nation the nation they were representing or could represent is much weaker than the other one. But for Hines, I look at Jamaica, and yes, they're not as good as England, but they're not a bad side at all. No. They've got some really good players.
Well, they will qualify for the next World Cup.
Exactly.
So I find it a truly bizarre decision.
They got to, was it the round of 16 in the World Cup and turned up and gave France.
Do you not remember Lorne Donaldson?
Yeah, and he gave France a brilliant game and he was dancing around having a great time. Why wouldn't you want to play for that team? But yeah, it's one of those where usually we see players switch because I think they could play for. It's usually a much smaller nation like a little island or something like that, and they switch to play for a bigger nation because.
Or even if it was the men's game where Jamaica aren't as strong, they don't have Khadija Shaw.
Yeah, but the Jamaican women's side are a really, really good side.
Yeah, they've got some top players. Ball out to the right-hand side. England trying to come forwards, not how to play well.
And it's not like being managed by Steve McLaren. No,
that would be fun.
That would be fun. And to be fair, he's doing quite well with that.
Steve McLaren on a dual roll. Runs. Into Beaver Jones down the line. Holds it up well. And Beaver Jones does really well there to beat the full-back. Can she pick out an England teammate? Back to Toon, who takes aim. It's blocked. Beaver Jones must have been offside. Chance now in the box. And that is dealt with. And cleared away. Sorry, it wasn't Beaver Jones, it was Mead, who I thought must have been offside. She came from off the pitch.
Yeah, the linesman just had to have a think about that one. Fair enough. But that's what England have needed to do all night. It's brilliant from Beaver Jones. Because what she does, for me there, is that unlike what she's done for the rest of the evening, she has just shrugged off the challenge. Yeah. She hasn't been... Because it was a bit more of an attack than it was a football tackle. But she just shrugged it off rather than falling over or running back and trying to punch each other. It's just get on with it. Get on with the game.
So I think Hines will make 2027 squad. Attacking fullback in an Arsenal team puts her in a good position to do it. I don't think she'll play much for Arsenal. I know she'll play much. I don't think she'll star for Arsenal. I don't know why Arsenal signed her anyway. I don't think she'll make the 2027 World Cup team. I think that Charles is nailed, Bronze is nailed. And then after that, it becomes difficult. Don't get me wrong. There aren't loads of options, but I hope that Ella Morris or Aria Dennis will be at the level to be there as a backup right back.
Yeah.
And then I hope at left back, either Poppy Pattinson is giving her England opportunities once she actually is fit enough to play for London City. I hope then that translates to her getting in the England squad. I would like to see Asmita Ale given a chance. I think that she's a very talented fullback who, because she plays for Leicester, hasn't been given that chance. Mm. But, I think she's a player who could contribute much more than Taylor Hines. So, yeah, I think England have got options, but it's who's going to get those opportunities.
Yeah. If Hines doesn't take the World Cup, I'll boycott it.
You won't.
No. I've always said this. She's an adequate player. She's a decent player and can play to a very decent level. Is she Arsenal quality? No. Is she good enough to play against the best sides in the world? No. Look at the Lyon game. Absolutely, which is not at the standard. Absolutely, she can play that backup role and play against West Ham or London City or some championship side in the cup and games like that, and she'll do well for rotation. But that is rotation against weaker opposition for Arsenal. That is not rotation at a World Cup for England. Yeah, it's as simple as that. I think she's a decent player, a good leader, and on her day can play at a very good level, but not at top England or top Arsenal level.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think the problem as well with it is the message it sends that you can be a player who has played. There were times at Liverpool where Hines would have been more deserving.
Yeah.
And she never got that chance because she played for Liverpool.
Oh, I hate it.
And now you get that same message said again, where if you play for Liverpool, if you play in the WSL and you don't play for Arsenal, City, United or Chelsea, you're not going to get in the England squad. Mm. I think that sends a really bad message to the rest of the team. Or to the rest of the league, really. When actually we should be encouraging players from every team to aspire to be in the England squad. I think there are a lot of players who would absolutely merit inclusion from the rest of the league. Ball into the box, flicked up into the air. Keating will claim it well.
Obviously on that, it's important to not avoid this squad because it's the sheer amount of injuries. because if every single England player was fit, then Kendall wouldn't be here. Missy Kearns might be. Obviously, Adjumang's alone at Brighton. Grace Fish definitely wouldn't be here. Neither would Bagley. So all the players that are playing outside the big four.
Yeah.
Naz
has been involved in squads before.
Bar Naz and Missy Kearns, I wouldn't expect to see any others.
Strike from range off the bar from Georgia Southgate. Georgia Stanway. Sorry, I was getting too excited there for the men's game. Gareth Southgate, but it's Georgia Stanway who strikes the crossbar with her effort. And that was struck with venom. Not a bad effort. She looked for her brace. She aficionado says, hello, just tuned in to watch this game. Now the rugby's over, my word, what the hell did I miss? Just players who aren't good enough, making mistakes. Both centre-halves really struggled. Letizier's come on and Brazil haven't come forwards.
To be fair...
Letizier's gone back into a position and Brazil haven't come forwards.
You'll probably enjoy this game because it's been a lot like rugby.
Yeah. Chief Official says, well, maybe Liverpool should invest better into women's games so they can reach the level of Chelsea, City and Arsenal if they want their players to get called up to represent England. That's not on... Yeah, Liverpool need to invest regardless, but that doesn't mean their players don't deserve to be called up for England. I don't think we should be giving, England opportunities based on which club you play for. It should be how good a player you are and how well you play. Ball into the box from Letizier. And that is cleared away well. I even think it extends to just Chelsea and Arsenal. I don't, as much as, if you play for City United, you've got to be top level to be considered. The fact that Grace Pryor hasn't been given opportunity, but Reed steps in, I think Reed is probably a better player, but I don't think there's loads in it. And Pryor has played a lot of minutes for Man City, had a lot of WSL experience, and hasn't been given that opportunity. Whereas Reed has played 6 games for Arsenal and gets called up.
Yeah, that's the. It's again, it's not necessarily this national break, but
ball through Beaver Jones blocked by Tarchiani.
Flag does go up, but
the problem for me isn't with Reed getting called up. The problem for me is with Pryor not getting that chance.
And again, it's not even this squad. If Pryor doesn't get called up for this one, it's absolutely fine. But Pryor played a full WSL campaign last season and didn't get a single call up. So it's one of those where what more could she have possibly done? She played a whole WSL campaign for Manchester City of all teams and didn't get a single call.
Yeah, a large chunk, didn't she, with the number of injuries, and didn't get those opportunities. I guess, of course, the other caveat is that it was going into a Euros year, whereas this is a year where there is more chance to experiment. But why didn't Pryor get called up to this England camp? Would be my question over someone like a Ruben Moy, who has played 190 minutes and a handful of bench appearances. That for me, and then obviously pulled out of the squad anyway and was replaced by Grace Fisk, who's been terrible for Liverpool this season.
I think everyone, yeah.
But again, you can't call up Pryor at that point because she's already in the 23 squad, and then the 23s are down a player. But yeah, Adjumang coming on. People talking about it should be positive. But yeah, Jorge, England don't need a new manager. Serena Wiegmann has won 2 consecutive European Championships and reached the World Cup final. As much as there are elements I would criticise, as I would with any manager, I don't think England need a new manager desperately. Here comes Mead. Russo. Before Wiegmann, we never won anything. We never even reached a final before Serena Wiegmann. And now...
don't discredit, was it Phil Neville?
Semi-finals.
Semi-finals, sorry.
And I will discredit that. That was very much in spite of Phil Neville, not because of him. Here come Brazil, Ludmilla. Trying to break down the right side physical from Adjumang, and it's given. I think that's a little harsh on Michelle Adjumang.
The problem is that is a foul, but compared to every single other altercation and battle I've seen today, that is probably the cleanest thing I've seen.
Yeah.
So
I don't think it is a foul. I don't know how that's been given as a foul.
It's aggressive, but if that's aggressive, then what Tarchiani's been doing is borderline murder.
Well, yeah.
Oh, yes.
Very true. Ball into the box, and that is on the head of Kiara Keating. Says Laser and still were poor for the under-23s against Germany. I think everyone was.
Oh my days!
That doesn't Naomi Laser deserves to be in the England squad. That's another one. I know she struggled with injuries, but she's been excellent for City when she's been fit.
That 23 game, you watched I didn't watch the full game. I watched the highlights. You might as well put 11 traffic cones on the pitch. They would have looked better.
Laser's your perfect car replacement. She can play anywhere across the back 3, and she doesn't look like she's running through treacle, which I think helps. Welsh balling by a cutout well. But yeah, again, this is the year to start bringing players like that in.
Oh yeah,
Because by the World Cup, Lazel will be 25. She'll be an established Man City player, I'd assume,
but also
and someone who should be, in contention for a starting place in this team.
this time next season, the squad needs to be the squad that are going to the World Cup. And also, maybe those fringe players you chop and change to see who
There's got to be
deserves.
considerations. Like Greenwood at the moment, you'd say is nailed, but she's 32. She'll be 34 by the time we get to the World Cup. Chance for England, but ball claimed well by Lorena. But is she seriously going to be at the same level to play the World Cup? Same for Lucy Bronze. She'll be 35, I think, at the next World Cup.
If Jess Carter is at World Cup 27, I've got some.
Jess Carter will be 29. She should be in her prime.
yeah.
She already looks past her best. Maybe she'll have sort of a second coming of Jess Carter. No,
I hope
wouldn't
so.
that be something?
I love Jess Carter. I think in her prime, she was on her day. She was one of the best centre halves in the world for Chelsea.
That's pushing. I think she's fantastic at the moment.
A few years ago, absolutely brilliant. Was absolutely brilliant. But I mean, I don't know how that's a foul from Greenwood. She's just stood there while Brazilian players jump around. It's going to be a fun World Cup, isn't it, in 2027?
Yeah. But again, I think it's got to be that consideration. It's something that Wiegman has done once in terms of when she came in, she got rid of some of the old guard and she's transitioned that team. Now she's got to do it again. And we've seen Brightleaf, we've seen her Earps leave, and that was important that those players left. Yeah. Apparently of their own volition, whether that's true or not will remain to be seen. But I think that's important because they were players that would have been phased out of the England squad. The question is now, how do we see that next step where we start to see, Carter and Morganite have really struggled. By the next World Cup, that should be, Reed as an option. That should be Lazel, Pryor as options in that England backline.
Yeah, I think it's fair. I do trust Wiegman to do that. I thought she did it brilliantly after the first Euros win. With Ellen White leaving, Jill Scott, players like that. I thought that she did really well to handle that, and we've seen players like Beaver Jones and that step up, and Bruce Ossie as the starting number 9. I thought that
strike is not a problem.
Yeah,
the best player's 26, and they've got players like Ebony Salmon, Isabel Goodwin, who aren't going to touch this England squad because of how much depth they've got up front. Great drive from Laetitia, that from centre half. Greenwood pokes it down the line. Here's Russo.
Oh, how late is that?
Such a late goal.
You can't give that. Letitia's caught her, but that's 10 seconds after the tackle's happened. Honestly, it's not a great tackle. I think it's a foul, and it's really difficult because it's probably the right decision, but it's such weak refereeing because how can you see that and then give it 5-10 seconds and then pull it back? It's a foul. She follows through, and it's really not a good one from Laetitia.
No.
Gets it horribly wrong.
She overextended after overcarrying it, really.
And to be honest, I think she's very lucky to be. It's an interesting one. I think she's very fortunate, but
I don't think there's enough force for a red, but it is stud showing, and it was a bit high.
Yeah, I think she's very lucky.
But again, the problem there isn't with the decision; is how late that comes.
But also
from the referee.
But also you can't send her off after giving it that late.
No,
because you can't say I took 10 seconds to think about it and then send someone off for it. What is this?
Struck forward here, struck away. Apparently, that's a highlight.
What are we watching this for?
Of a shot that went miles wide. Wow.
Who pressed that button?
That's the player who's down injured, I believe. That's the highlight I've got from this game.
They better not be injured because look what they can do.
Lash it wide. But yeah, I think the next phase will come. What will be interesting is bronze. Bronze is already, 33, 34?
England are right
33.
back.
She'll be 35 at the next World Cup. And this is probably why Wiegman is considering players like Laetitia in that role. And I get it because you've got to think, well, we don't really have any right backs that are at the level yet. So who do you play there? But I think there are better options. I think Charles can play right back, considering she is a fullback who is right-footed. Again, left back is also a problem. Fullbacks, and it's hugely interesting as to why England don't produce any fullbacks. But I would say Pattinson should be in consideration for the team by then. After 2 years at London City, I would say that Charles should be in the team. I would want other players considered. I would not. What are you going to say?
Get Ash Neville in the. I've seen her turn around this season. I'll tell you what, if she keeps it up.
Better than Hines. She'd be more deserving this season than Taylor Hines.
Don't get me wrong, last season, tragic. This season, though, has looked so much better. And if she continues that, Get her in the England squad. Give her a chance. That's it. Because, and to be honest, it's the same with Hines. Give Hines the opportunity on Tuesday. Play her 90 minutes. And if she looks miles off it, don't call her up again. If she plays really well, then I will take my hat off to her and give her credit. And that's that's what these friendlies are for. Call up players who we're umming and ahhing about. If they play 90 minutes and it's a shambles, don't call them up again.
I'm not umming and ahhing about Taylor Hines. That's the problem.
Yeah, that's a very good point. But no.
But yeah, I think there's going to be more options, more rotation in that squad, more different players given opportunities. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. I'm hoping England will still be the best nation when we get to that tournament. I don't think anything will change regarding Spain. I don't think anything will change regarding the US WNT. I think they've both got exciting young squads.
And I don't count the Nations League as a trophy.
No, I don't care about the Nations League.
When is that final? Is it Sunday? Tomorrow?
Can't be, can it?
Oh yeah, because they played last night.
Yeah.
Oh, is it? Oh yeah, that's the other stupid thing. What tournament as a midweek? Well, I know the Europa League in the men's game, but what final?
Yeah, but that's because it's not as important as the Champions League.
True. But
shows everything about the women, the Nations League in both forms, men's and women's.
Is it Spain versus Germany? Another foul, another yellow card.
Is it more interesting than friendlies? Probably,
but well, it's not when Spain just turn out and roll Sweden over.
Phil says we haven't had an actual left back since Rachel Unnett. Well, Daly was the left back at the Euros.
Such a
player. And then
the crossbreed.
Was she there at the 23 World Cup? I feel like she was.
I cannot remember.
Well, potentially not. Can't remember. But yeah, I know. Yeah, there is a huge problem with England. England don't produce any, not just left backs, but left-footed players, which is just fascinating to me. Even if you look at all the wide players, they're all right-footed. So it's very interesting.
Just in case you were wondering, you can tell this is a friendly because England aren't putting the pressure on. They're not.
No, I'm talking about why England don't make left-footed footballers.
They're not pushing for a winner, an equaliser. Sorry, the added time is just dwindling out, and no one's really doing anything. Everyone just keeps fouling each other. It's just been such a dirty game. Really has.
Greenwood. On the edge of the box now, chance for Toon. It's blocked wide, and that should be a corner. Sheepashire says, so you're saying give a player one game and then never again if they seem shaky? You all are harsh. No, I'd say look at her career, look at her performances at club level, and then go, she shouldn't be in the England squad anyway. And then if she plays in the England squad and still doesn't look good, you go, probably shouldn't be in the England squad. Just for Adjabang, outside the box, and it's cleared away.
But also, that is harsh, but that is welcome to England Football Club. Welcome to the National Football Club.
England Football Club.
Welcome to the England national team. That's kind of what it is.
Welcome to England FC, guys.
If you at the international level, you can't take 4 or 5 games to bed in. You have to show up and show signs of promise. I'm not saying, again, shaky's different.
Eva Jones, ball into the box.
Penalty at the back post.
What's happening there? Back to Aggie. And that's blocked by Tarciani. Nicky says, I'm hopeful of Charles being in the World Cup squad. You can call me delusional, but I'm sure she'll be there. I don't think that's delusional at all. If Charles will 100%.
She should play.
If she's injured, be in the World Cup squad. And yeah, Nick Charles should probably play for England, either at left back or right back. But yeah. Sage says England City Lionesses. Yeah, maybe if they sign all the England players.
Get Michelle Kang to buy the FA and just win everything.
England now with a corner, ball into the box. Headed away though by Beaver Jones. Walsh will bust a gut to try and get there. Can't keep it in touch though.
Why are we still playing?
There was a stoppage, wasn't there? For
because everyone keeps kicking each other.
Injury.
It's been a bit frustrating to watch really because there's been no momentum to the game. Everyone has just kicked lumps out of each other.
Yeah, England don't care and Brazil have been down to 10. So it's just been one of those games, hasn't it? Get rid of 2 international breaks in the winter. We don't want to watch this much international football.
No.
Love tournament football. But yeah, this has not been the most exhilarating. It's been good fun.
Come back on Tuesday.
Important one. That one will be good though. Russo. Blocked.
Go on, get a go.
Walsh. Ball into the box. Headed away again. Walsh. Morgan. Bronze. Lucky the rest being paid by the minute. Letitia, ball in, headed away. And that is cleared away, and that will be the final whistle here at the Etihad. England 1, Brazil 2. Yeah. It's full time here at the Etihad Stadium. A tough evening for England, who started slowly in their shaky backline and made it too easy for Brazil to burst through them. Brazil found those 2 early goals, but red card for Angelina made things more difficult than they should have been for Brazil this evening. England did find 1 goal through the penalty spot, but struggled really to create enough from open play. So that is full-time. Big win for Brazil as they start to prove their worth heading into their home tournament in 2027. These 2 sides will, of course, meet again in April, so they face off in the 2nd ever edition of the Women's Finalissima. But yeah, not an ideal night for England. Harry, how would you summarise that performance?
Disappointing, and didn't really do anything. It was Brazil's game plan was executed superbly. They went 2-0 up, got a red card, and then just kicked lumps out of people. And England did not find a rhythm. They dropped to the Brazil level. And we watched half an hour at the end there where, I mean, there must have been, 5, 6, 7 yellow cards across the 2 teams because they both just kept fouling each other. It was a bit of a disappointing game to watch from a standard point of view. You know, when you've got the European champions facing the South American champions, you expect to see a brilliant battle with some really good football played, but neither side played any football, to be honest, and it was a fast start from Brazil and an England penalty that found the back of the net. But bar that, I think I was pretty disappointed with the standard, to be completely honest. But that's how Brazil play. We know they're a very physical and aggressive side, and it worked perfectly because it disrupted England, and they just stooped to that level.
Yeah, absolutely. And Nikki, thank you for tuning in. So I just stumbled on your channel today while searching for a stream. Thank you for the nice environment, and I definitely subbed. Appreciate it. It's been. I'm thankful to everyone that's tuned in tonight. It's always difficult for us as creators when it's international breaks because we focus very much on the WSL. So when the WSL isn't playing for 2 weeks, it's difficult to come up with ideas, and it's difficult to make people watch them. But thank you for everyone that has tuned in this evening. We're back on Tuesday for England versus Australia. That should be a very interesting game. Shams has asked that. Yeah, we will be doing a stream on Tuesday. And Davis says, why do you feel that Brazil will do well in the next World Cup? They're at home. I will not be surprised if they make the finals or even win it. Very true. I think Brazil will do well in the next World Cup. It's their home tournament. The pressure will be there. But I think that they are a side who are very aggressive and will not feel that pressure. I think they want that environment. They want that atmosphere to be just as loud and energetic as their play style is. So I think that home advantage will definitely play in there. And as Ryan says, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. And make sure to join us on Tuesday. That is everything from us today. Thank you guys very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.